Okay, I am live. Can everybody see me? Can anybody hear me? Is there anyone even in the stream right now? I started a little early just to make sure I could handle any technology issues as soon as possible. Okay, I just sent out a tweet letting everybody know I'm here. Okay, Outlaw Ripoff Artist. Okay, you can hear me. Nick Knoll, welcome, welcome. You can hear me? Great. Great, grand, wonderful. We'll give it a few more minutes to let some more people come on if they want to. Now, this is going to be a watch-along for Survivor Series 1998. And the last few attempts I've done at doing a watch-along have been stymied by YouTube and their stupid rules and shit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be wearing headsets while the pay-per-view is in progress to cancel out the sound. So if there's no visuals and no sound, they shouldn't shut me down. And I'm making it perfectly clear that this is a watch-along. Because when I did the Coliseum video one, they said that what I was doing was false advertising. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Everybody knew what I was doing. It was absolutely ridiculous. The Giants have a chance of winning the division. Would you call that winning the division? Like, winning the NFC East is just bumblefucking your way into the playoffs. We Are Pro Wrestling. Welcome, welcome. How you doing today? Getting back to what I was saying, though. So hopefully the watch-along goes off without a hitch this time because I'm going to be wearing the headsets. And I'm going to be conversing with you guys via chat and answering your questions along the way and commenting on the show while it's in progress. Survivor Series 98 is one of my personal favorite Survivor Series events, so I'm going to... but I haven't watched it in a long time, so this is going to be really fun on a rewatch. Jet the Hawk, welcome. B-Slim, it's still going to get taken down anyway, probably. They will claim the thumbnail is the issue this time. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. But before we get into Survivor Series, I do have a few other topics that I want to touch up on, so it's going to be a pretty lengthy discussion about a couple of different things before we get into the actual pay-per-view itself. So we're going to go well up past midnight here, or, you know, depending on what your time zone is. For me, it'll be past midnight for sure, but it's on a Saturday. I don't have to be up in the morning. Screw it. But yeah, I've got plenty to say to Google and YouTube. Plenty to say. All right, we'll give it 3 more minutes. At 9:30, I'll start the actual discussion of things. Giants winning the division is like being the best wrestler of the Mean Street Posse. Yeah, I just love it. The NFC East is the Mean Street Posse. I love it. I did start early. Yep. I haven't said anything of consequence yet. I just wanted to make... I wanted to start early to make sure that the technology and everything was working. It's a deadly game. That fucking song. That was a Jim Johnson creation, wasn't it? Like, I think he did that one and No Chance in Hell and a few of the other ones that were like pay-per-view themes. Remember when the pay-per-view themes, like the theme songs for pay-per-views were like from like A-list bands? Like, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of their music, but when Limp Bizkit was doing, like, WrestleMania, that felt like a big deal, because it was, like, Limp Bizkit at the time was, like, the hottest band on the planet. So for them to be doing WrestleMania, that's like, oh my god. And now it's, like, a bunch of bands I've never friggin' heard of. Like, I think Nita Strauss is, like, the biggest name that I've seen associated with the WWE in the last few years. And Joan Jett for Ronda Rousey's entrance for WrestleMania, but... Is that a Green Bay Packers bottle? No, it's a Gatorade bottle. And it's not filled with Gatorade, it's filled with water. NFC East equals the tank division. Oh, dude, they're on track to being the worst division in the history of football. Like, last week when the Giants got that win over the Eagles, that was when the division as a whole broke. They finally cracked 10 wins total for the entire division. It's really sad. I think it should be a rule if a team is 6-10 or worse, screw winning a division, they don't get to go to the playoffs. They might change that rule next season because I have a funny feeling the winner of the NFC East is going to be somewhere in that ballpark. I still have no idea who the F Poppy is that keeps popping up on NXT. Don't we all? But, okay, it looks like we have a sizable audience. Let's just go ahead and get started. So, welcome everybody to my live stream. We will be doing a live watch-along where you get to watch me watch Survivor Series 1998 with my running commentary as I relive that pay-per-view, which I have not watched in a long time. Mr. Gov, welcome. Welcome aboard. Sam, welcome. Nice to see you again. We want to watch the Stone Cold podcast with The Undertaker part 2 tomorrow. Yes, I will be watching that for sure. Who's winning the NFL this year? Oh, God. I mean, the Chiefs might repeat. The Chiefs are looking really good. It's a deadly game that we play as we live our lives. Perfect theme for 2020. Oh, yeah, but, all right, so, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up something, and this is going to tie into an update for this channel. So, this is going to be administrative type of stuff, so if this bores you, I'm sorry, but this is something where I get to kind of, rant and rave about YouTube and Google. So, as many of you already know, and every YouTube user should already know, this little email was sent out to all of us, and I'll pull it up right here. This is the message. I don't know if you can read that. So we received this email telling us that there were going to be updates to the YouTube Terms of Service. And there's one point in particular, there's one point about facial recognition restrictions. Terms of Service already states that you cannot collect any information that might identify a person without their permission. While this has always included facial recognition information, the new terms make this explicitly clear. I'm okay with this. To me, it's a no-brainer. I know TikTok, there's been a lot of issues with TikTok and facial recognition software being a part of that platform and speculation about where that data is going. Which is why I'll never do TikTok. No way in hell. On that third one, royalty payments and tax withholding for creators entitled to revenue payments. Such payments will be treated as royalties from a U.S. tax perspective, and Google will withhold taxes where required by law. Sucks, but somewhat expected. I'm a little surprised they didn't do this before. It's this middle one right here, the second one, that's really, really interesting to me. Alright, so YouTube has the right to monetize all content on the platform, and ads may appear on videos from channels not in the YouTube Partner Program, which means that if you've been, if you're somebody that broke the rules and were demonetized by YouTube, which is a major controversy going across the platform for the last few years now, they can monetize your videos anyway, which to me spits in the face of the whole concept as, well, we demonetized those people because they were offensive, they broke the rules, and sponsors and ads aren't going to want to be associated with people like that. Well, now they're saying we're just going to put the ads on the videos anyway, whether they're monetized or not, whether they're part of the YouTube Partners Program or not, because they're a bunch of greedy assholes that will just make money in any which way they can. So, we received that message, and I rolled my eyes at it. And it's just, the evidence continues to mount that, the evidence continues to mount that Google is a fucking evil corporation to almost a cartoonish degree. Bunch of greedy assholes that look for any way to screw over content creators and the people that help build this platform. Now, I'm a very minor, low on the totem pole creator on YouTube. And I understand that. I even said it before. Like, I like having my own little corner of the internet. I don't want to be a big deal on YouTube. I kind of like being in the shadows and just having my little group and my little clique and just doing whatever the hell I want. But it was independent creators that created this platform, and YouTube and Google have constantly just fist fucked these people over and over and over again. And here we go. It's like, well, even if we demonetize you, we can still put ads on your videos, but you won't get any of the money for it. We will. We get all the money for the ads. And it's like, you know what? Fuck you, YouTube. Seriously, fuck you. You shameless shills. I can't stand you. And, you know, the only reason I'm still on this platform because it is the biggest platform, and I have my doubts that I would be able to retain any kind of an audience if I moved to a platform. I have strongly considered going to Twitch. I know Twitch is super ban happy too, but they're not like as dictatorial as YouTube is. So YouTube is run by Vince McMahon, right? It feels that way. It feels like Google is run by like Mr. Burns, Vince McMahon, and it almost feels like, for anybody who's ever seen Mr. Robot, it feels like Evil Corp from that show. And it's just, they are cartoonishly greedy and evil. And I think back to my dad, right before he retired, he was doing consulting work, and he worked for a company that was doing work with Google. And Dad said at the time, and it was right before he retired, he was like, dude, the people at Google, they are downright evil. The people, those are his words. He said they are downright evil. The way they conduct business and the way they screw people over, the way they abuse people. And nice to know nothing has changed since my dad retired. But it was like, Dad, I remember he said something to the effect of, like, dude, if that's where big business is going, I want no part of it. And Google's theme song should be the Shinra theme from Final Fantasy. I feel like you're about to burst out and say, you don't know me, I'm a Christian. Is that a reference to something? I don't know what that is. I guess Google needs to make up some money after that atrocity that is Stadia. Yeah. Ironic considering their motto used to be don't be evil. Yeah, how ironic. They're about as evil as it gets. So, because of that, and because I'm so pissed off at them, and again, I wasn't making a ton of money off of YouTube anyway, but they've constantly screwed me over every which way, especially on the live streaming format. So I've said, you know what? I've made an administrative decision, an executive decision. I will no longer be monetizing my videos. Again, I was not making a lot of money off of YouTube anyway. I get my living from somewhere else. I treat YouTube like a hobby. I don't use it for a living. To me, YouTube was a $100 check that I would get once a year. I was like, cool, beer money. That's all it was to me, financially. But YouTube has gone and pissed me off so much that I've said, you know what? Fuck them. I'm not going to monetize my videos anymore because I don't want to be subjected to their crap anymore. So if you ever see ads on my videos ever again, know that it wasn't me that did it. I might even go back retroactively and just take ads off all my videos because I'm just... if you ain't hated, you ain't successful. That's a fair statement. That's absolutely a fair statement. It's a reference, one of the most popular videos on YouTube. South Park even spoofed it on one of their episodes. I have no memory of that. That's amazing. There's been so many viral videos on YouTube. It's probably, yeah, Patrick Inc. is dead. YouTube has become almost completely unusable for me due to the abundance of the ads. I used to watch it constantly, but I've stopped watching most stuff on it in favor of podcasts. Probably the right move. That's probably the right move. Yeah, YouTube, I can't stand them. I'm only here because I treat this like a hobby at this point. So it's just, and even then, if I could switch to a better platform, I would. Some people have recommended BitChute to me. BitChute does not have live streaming, and I do want to have the ability to do live streaming every once in a while. And Twitch, I don't know about the functionality of Twitch. I've never used it. Maybe that will be an option in the future. But for right now, I'll be staying on YouTube under protest. And mainly because as of right now, I have no other options. So I'm going to stay here, but I'm no longer going to monetize my videos because fuck them. And so again, if you start seeing any ads on any videos moving forward, I did not put them there, and I will not be making money off of those. So, yeah, just wanted to come on here and rant about YouTube. I hate them. I've gotten to where I fucking hate them. And it is what it is. So, now into the world of wrestling. You no longer get to hear me rant about YouTube or anything else. But before I move into the next topic, any other questions? I stopped YouTube for porn. That's a good move. There's plenty of like YouTube versions of porn out there. I mean, it's a pretty hot market. I'm gonna try and work with YouTube, but yeah, it's fucked beyond belief. Yeah, it is. It totally is. And if you're successful on YouTube, you should be scared about the shit that they've done to some of these users. More and more YouTube reminds me of the end of Blip when the ads got out of control. Blip, the functionality of Blip always sucked. I never liked Blip. Oh my god, yeah, the Giants, if you look at all their games, except for the San Francisco game, they were games that they had leads in, and they could have won those games. And it's like, we could be running away with the division right now, easily, if they just stopped fucking up in the fourth quarter or surrendering points off of turnovers, Danny Dimes, and not getting a shit ton of penalties late in the games that cost you. Like, they'd be running away with this division right now. I have an ad blocker, so fuck them. Good call, Jet. I don't blame you. Now that you've cut a promo on YouTube, when's the match happening? Sometime after COVID. Probably 10 years from now when COVID is finally over. Patrick versus YouTube at WrestleMania 37 in Hell in a Cell. I would win that in a heartbeat, no question. I'm totally going over. Totally going to go over there. You got to put the underdog babyface over. David Land, who does videos on Racing Channel, said he went over a month without YouTube paying him, and he wasn't the only one. Yeah. And, and again, I'm not nearly successful enough to get regular payments from them. The way it's set up with Google Ads is like you have to break a $100 threshold to then get paid. And I get like a check a year, basically. And I'm okay with that. Again, I don't need YouTube for life. But it's, the whole system is getting really, really fucked up. If the Giants stopped fucking up, they wouldn't be the Giants. That should be their motto. That should be their motto. So anyway, let's go to the first wrestling topic. It was a big one that's kind of dominated the last few days or so. Last couple weeks, actually. Zelina Vega and her release, which kind of brought about a renewed interest in the whole independent contractors versus employees argument, the whole should wrestling unionize argument, and all this other stuff. Now, so supposedly, Zelina Vega was let go for being very vocal about WWE superstars being banned from third-party platforms. And this gets fueled even more now that The Undertaker is on Cameo, which seems ridiculously unfair. He's being sponsored by WWE, and he has permission, I guess. But all you Johnny-come-latelys on the totem pole, the Alexa Blisses of the world, you can't use Cameo without WWE's permission, and they have to get a cut of the profits. Which is so scummy to me. It's extremely scummy. And, I've also heard that one of the reasons for Zelina Vega getting let go is that she has an OnlyFans, and OnlyFans tend to be very risque. I don't have her OnlyFans. I have not subscribed to her, so I don't know the content of her OnlyFans, so I cannot comment. But I doubt she's, like, masturbating on camera or anything like that. I don't know. It just wouldn't strike me that a WWE superstar would be doing that. Maybe a former WWE superstar that's hard on her luck. But anyway, the whole third-party platform debate, I've said it before, it goes back to the whole independent contractors versus employees. What are they? If they are independent contractors, they should be allowed to use these platforms on their free time and make money off those platforms without any say from the company. Plain and simple, if you want to have the caveat that they can't use WWE intellectual property, that makes sense. They can't use their wrestling names. Okay, but they should still be able to use those platforms. Absolutely. Again, if they're truly independent contractors, if you don't want them to be independent contractors, then they need to be employees. And if they're going to be employees, that means they need to be entitled to benefits like medical insurance, retirement plans, and various things like that. Paid time off, the type of stuff that I'm entitled to as an employee, as someone who works for a company as an employee. I'm entitled to a lot of stuff. And if the WWE wrestlers and the talent are going to be recognized as employees, then they need to get all those benefits. But WWE's in this little sweet spot right now where they get to call them independent contractors so they don't have to give them any of those benefits, yet they still have total control over those talents and can tell them to do what they want and ban them from doing certain things and yada, 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 all that other stuff. So it really, WWE needs to pick a lane. And it's a change that's needed to be made for decades now. They need to pick a lane. Now, granted, I'm the type of guy where I like a certain level of independence. Like, I like having a 401k, but at the same time, there's that part of me that wishes I had control over that money because I'm not stupid with money. So I would absolutely take care of that money and make sure that it grows with interest and various other things. It would still work as a retirement fund, but generally, I like to have control over my stuff. Now, granted, as an employee, I don't have a control over everything. But I do have that desire for that. Now, as an independent contractor, you can have that. As long as you're paid well enough, you can, invest in your own retirement plan, invest in your own medical insurance and all this other stuff, rather than let the company take care of it for you, get rid of the middleman. So either way is fine. It's just WWE needs to pick a lane. Now, this does bring about the whole talk about unionization. I have my own issues with unionization where it's it's a good idea on paper, and I think unions started with very good intentions, but a lot of them get super corrupt. Like if you look at some teachers unions and police unions, they get super, super corrupt and take a lot more than they give and provide and do a lot more harm than good. And so that's something that if wrestling is going to unionize, that is something that they have to be wary of and making sure they don't go down an even worse path and make the business worse off than it was before the union was made. So there's also talks of like, all right, when you do a union, do you want a WWE union or do you want a overarching wrestlers union? And that's another discussion that would have to be had if unionization is on the table. So again, it's just another element of that discussion. I thought Zelina Vega's release was very shocking because it looked like at the last pay-per-view, it looked like they were getting ready to push her. And then shit hit the fan, apparently. I think she'll have no problem. I wouldn't think she'd have too much trouble finding a job elsewhere. I'm sure, like, Impact would take her back. I'm sure, I'm sure AEW will look into her. They've been kind of bolstering their women's division lately, so we'll see how all that goes. So I'm not necessarily worried for her getting a job, even in the middle of a pandemic. Like, wrestling companies are still running, and she'll hopefully get help somewhere. But the whole thing was a very shocking situation. That's unfortunately part of this much larger narrative of should wrestling unionize or not, and are they independent contractors or employees? And these are questions that desperately need to be answered. Why so many content creators use Patreon for money or for YouTube? Yeah, no, I agree. I'd rather, if I started a Patreon, I would much rather trust that than YouTube. I'm not going to start a Patreon because, again, I don't use this as a business. I use this as a hobby, so I see no reason to make a shit ton of money off of it. But maybe I'm just not ambitious enough. I don't know. COVID-19 is having a Hogan-level world title run. Wow, that's a great line. They say it's her cosplaying in some skimpy outfits, but no porn. And yes, Sunny's OnlyFans is poorly done porn from what I hear. Oh, yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. It's just cosplay and bikini showings, nothing X-rated. That sounds like anything that you would see on Twitter or Instagram. That doesn't sound that bad. Also worth noting is that Bruce Pritchard can still do his podcast, and he's an employee of the WWE. Very good point. Very good point. And Eric Bischoff was still doing the podcast while he was an employee of the WWE. Very good point. Reports have it Bruce was one of the guys telling Vince he should block third-party sites. Ooh, boy. Oh dear. WWE has always had this argument of independent contractors versus employees. I feel like it only come up in the last 5 years ago. It goes back to, like, Jesse the Body wanted to unionize back in the 80s. So, yeah, it's a discussion that's been going on for a long time. The terminology may have changed, but the discussion has been going on for decades. Jake, welcome. Welcome aboard. I grew really cold towards Andrew Yang, but damn do I hope he can accomplish something about this. He strikes me as a wrestling fan who cares. He does too, and Here's the thing. I hate politicians. I hate Republicans. I hate Democrats. And there's a part of me that hates Andrew Yang. But if he can get something good done as in getting WWE to do the right thing, I think it's good. A politician did one good thing. The issue with overall wrestling unions that would really affect indie... Exactly. It would affect all the indie companies who really can't afford to have a union or be beholden to a union. And it would kill off the indies. Maybe WWE... If we tell WWE that, they'll probably want to start a union then. It's like, oh, it'll kill off all the indies? Great. It'll kill all those bastards. As someone that is skeptical of unions, I do feel like wrestling needs one, and for the whole of wrestling. Again, there's... very good intentions. It all starts with good intentions. I'm just worried about what the end result would be. Why not start an OnlyFans? I have nothing that anybody would pay to see for an OnlyFans. I got nothing. Patrick, have you watched season 2 of The Mandalorian? I have not. I'm going to wait for the whole season to drop, and then I'm going to blast right through it and marathon it. I've heard very good things, which is great. Also, Brock was allowed to fight in the UFC while under contract with WWE. Yes, he was. So it's like there's this privileges for the top stars, and it's not applied evenly across the board. The thing with Andrew Yang is if he really cares about wrestling and unions, he needs to go after the entire business, not just the WWE. I see, they say Andrew Yang's a fan. Is he one of those guys that's just a fan of WWE? And nothing else? Like, does he know that there's other wrestling out there? Because I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that say they're like, oh, I'm a WWE fan. And it's like, oh, what other wrestling do you watch? And they're like, wait, there's other wrestling? Like, they just don't know what's out there. So I'm wondering if he's just one of those guys where wrestling to him is just WWE and nothing else. So, I think that's the end of my talk on that. I just wanted to give my opinions on it and, make my thoughts clear on it. So let's go into something a little bit more straightforward. Survivor Series 2020. I'm going to preview the card. It's happening tomorrow night. And the major attraction on the card is the retirement of The Undertaker. And it'll be interesting to see what they do. If they turn this into an angle, which brings Taker back for one match, or if it is Undertaker's big farewell on his 30th anniversary. It'll be interesting to see what they do. Whatever it is, hopefully it's good. It's the main reason I'm tuning in, because I gotta tell you, this card, I have absolutely no reason to give a shit about any of this. I do not care about this card at all. He was on Jericho's podcast. He knows stuff outside of WWE. Okay, that's good to know. All right, never mind. I rescind my comment. He tweeted a congratulations to Chris Jericho when he won the AEW title. Okay, so he does know other wrestling. He has brought up AEW, and it's worth noting that AEW and Impact and ROH treat their talent like independent contractors far more than WWE does. That is true. That is absolutely true. They allow typically they allow their talents to take work elsewhere and generally treat them like independent contractors. Vince McMahon is becoming a real-life Mr. Burns. I know. It's hilarious. It's weirdly hilarious. Have you ever seen Christopher Robin? I have. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really cute movie. And this is coming from somebody that hates the Disney remakes and the live-action Disney movies that they've made recently. Hated Beauty and the Beast. Hated Aladdin. If I saw Mulan, I'd probably hate it. I enjoyed Christopher Robin. I thought that was a really cute movie. I'm so sick of Undertaker goodbye moments. He's been saying goodbye for like 20 years now. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, there's that part of me that's like, okay, yeah, wink, wink, sure, he's really leaving. Mr. Burns was never this bad. You've never seen Who Shot Mr. Burns Part 1. He was pretty bad in that. He blocked out the fucking sun just so he could screw people out of money. He also tried to steal candy from a baby. Alrighty. So let me pull up the Survivor Series card. Let me go over this rather pathetic card. Okay, so it's a bunch of Raw versus SmackDown matches. Raw versus SmackDown is the theme of the show, outside of The Undertaker. And, I don't care about Raw versus SmackDown at all. And nothing is at stake, nothing's on the line, so I don't care. There's a pre-show dual battle royal, don't care. We've got Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn, the U.S. champ versus the IC champ. Neither title's on the line, so I don't care. We've got the New Day, the Raw Tag Champs versus the Street Profits, the SmackDown Tag Champs. Neither title's on the line, so I don't care. We've got Asuka versus Sasha Banks, the Raw Women's Champ versus the SmackDown Women's Champ. Holy shit, I feel like I've seen this match 900 times. I don't care. I've seen the match like so many times, I just don't care. And the fact that it has no stakes doesn't help. And we've got Drew McIntyre, the Raw WWE Champion, versus Roman Reigns, the SmackDown Universal Champion. Again, neither title's on the line, so who cares? Those are the singles matches. And then we've got 2 Survivor Series elimination matches, both of them Raw versus SmackDown. The women's one, it's Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Lana, Lacey Evans, and Peyton Royce for Raw, taking on Bianca Belair, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Bayley, and Natalya for SmackDown. I don't care about any of this. And then in the men's match, we've got for Team Raw, we've got AJ Styles, Keith Lee, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, and Riddle, not Matt Riddle, he's just Riddle now, taking on Team SmackDown of Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, King Corbin, Seth Rollins, and Otis. Again, no knock on the talents involved. There's, 10 women, 10 guys. No knock on any of the talents involved. It's just I don't care because nothing's at stake. Nothing's on the line. Nothing's really being furthered because it's a Raw versus SmackDown thing and they'll forget about this next week. It doesn't matter, so I don't care. It has no long-term ramifications. I don't care. I literally don't care about any of this. So I'm only watching the show tomorrow just to see Undertaker's farewell, just to see what they do. It's literally the only thing that has any interest for me. The rest of the card is garbage. So that is that. All right. Excellent. Does that make Bruce Pritchard Mr. Smithers? Absolutely. Absolutely it does. It's the T-shirt war pay-per-view. You fight people wearing a different colored shirt than you. Yes, that's it. That is absolutely it. Vince McMahon is J. Jonah Jameson. J. Jonah Jameson at least has a heart. At times, depending on the portrayal. Have you ever thought of making a new YouTube channel consisting of non-wrestling friends topics? I thought about it years ago. I ultimately didn't do it. I decided, it's like, screw it. I'll just put everything on one channel. Also, again, I treat it like a hobby. If I were turning it into a business, it would make sense to do that, but that's not a step I ever took. And nowadays, I'm like, no, fuck YouTube. They aren't getting my work on a second channel, except for Weekday Warriors of Wrestling, which is the podcast I do with Eric. Eric's covering a lot of the load with that, so I just really just help him out with that. It's more Eric's channel than mine. I think it's hilarious NXT isn't involved this year. I don't know why. It gave them a ratings boost last year over AEW. They might as well do it again. Again, it's like, if they're not going to put the titles on the line at the pay-per-view, I really don't care about these brand matches, regardless of who's in it. Although it does make Randy's win over Drew feel completely pointless that he just lost it a few weeks later anyway. Yeah, it became bragging rights. The Survivor Series, bragging rights. Reports say WWE made him change his name to just Riddle because they don't want people Googling Matt Riddle and find out about the lawsuit. He's like, Jesus Christ. That's probably true. It's a lame mindset, if true. Are you streaming tomorrow? No, I am not. Is there anyone in wrestling you never get sick of or seeing or hearing about? Hard to say. I mean, there's certain guys, like Sting is somebody I'm always interested in as long as he's not around too often. Randy Savage was somebody I never really got sick of. AJ Styles is somebody I never really got sick of. So I guess there's a handful of guys. Undertaker will probably be attacked by The Fiend, and that'll be the setup for WrestleMania. Probably. 2005 had no stakes either, yet nobody said anything then. I didn't like it back then either. I didn't like it back then either. I think back then, it probably had better talents involved overall. And the brand split concept was still relatively, new-ish. So it had a little bit of freshness to it, but the brand split concept has just been devalued so much over the years that it's like, who even cares? That poor drummer in Whiplash. Oh, God. I need to watch that movie again. That's become my favorite movie in COVID. I'm so mad at myself I didn't watch it when it first came out. I swear to God, I've watched that movie like 4 times since COVID started because I've just fallen in love with it. Survivor Series has become sports day, basically. Yeah. NXT is involved because of multiple COVID outbreaks over the last few months. Well, yeah, I mean, that'll happen. I'm scared to death of an Undertaker Fiend program. I mean, you would think that the Fiend would go over. I mean, you would think that finally Bray Wyatt would get over on the Undertaker. Yeah, oh no, absolutely. NXT is being used as a weapon against AEW and literally nothing else. That's the sole reason it exists. It's the sole reason it's on Monday or Wednesday nights. It's there to hurt AEW and keep viewers away from AEW. That's why. What went wrong? The brand split. That would be like the biblical epics of what went wrong videos for me. That I could sit there for like 3 hours and talk about what went wrong. So, let's see. I've been babbling for half an hour now. So let's pull up the final topic I want to get into before I cover Survivor Series 98 and do the watch along. This is going to be the first entry in my series of Starcade videos. And this is going to be a discussion topic about whether or not Starcade is the WrestleMania of the NWA, Jim Crockett Promotions, and WCW, as a lot of fans seem to believe that it is. Starcade is the event in that, that Southern Territory, again, Jim Crockett's NWA, WCW. That's the event that people kind of consider to be the WrestleMania of those promotions. And what does it mean to be the WrestleMania? Well, to me, WrestleMania, for all the glitz and glamour and the celebrity involvement and everything else, at the end of the day, WrestleMania really is the season finale of the WWE. That's really what it, and it kind of invented that format in a strange way, where it became the season finale for an entire year's worth of programming and build leading into this big show where most of the big matches take place, and then you start over fresh once WrestleMania is concluded. Some other promotions have adopted this format. Lucha Underground adopted Ultima Lucha, which was literally the season finale. In every literal sense, they literally treated that like a season finale. TNA, Bound for Glory, is treated like WrestleMania. ROH, Final Battle, is treated like the finale for ROH, their year of promotion and build. For New Japan, it's Wrestle Kingdom. They treat that like their WrestleMania. Everything builds to Wrestle Kingdom, and that's their big show, and then they start over with New Year's Dash. And they've kind of, some would argue, they do the season finale type of format better than WWE does. New Japan, I mean. And but not every promotion does this. There's also kind of like a sectional format. NXT kind of does this, even though it's WWE. NXT may get to participate at WrestleMania, but it's not really part of WrestleMania. It's kind of like separated from everything that Raw and SmackDown does. And NXT is really kind of a sectional build where they'll build to a takeover and then they move on to the next one. And then they start the next cycle. It's like, all right, we built to this takeover, now let's do the next one. And so on and so on and so on. And they do that a few times a year. And AEW kind of does that. I couldn't tell you what AEW's biggest pay-per-view is. Is it All Out? Is it Full Gear? Is it Revolution? Is it Double or Nothing? I don't know. They just kind of get into these cycles where they build from one show to the next. And when you have 4 pay-per-views a year, you can do that. And it probably works okay. Personally, I prefer the season finale format. But that's the standing that WrestleMania occupies. And my question is Starcade, was that the season finale for NWA and WCW? And some of Eric Bischoff's comments on fairly recent podcasts that he's done, where he talked about how he felt that Halloween Havoc was the big show that WCW did. That was the one that he looked forward to every year, and the one that he considered the biggest. And that comment he made kind of like got my brain rattling and got me down this train of thought where it's like, okay, was Starrcade really kind of like the season finale for those Southern promotions? And I think in the early entries from like 83 to 88, you can say that, a lot of the big feuds and big matches built to those earlier Starrcades, like Piper and Valentine, Ric Flair and Harley Race, Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes twice. They even started building Flair and Dusty Rhodes during Starrcade 83, so they knew where they wanted to go once Flair got the belt back from Harley. Magnum TA and Tully Blanchard, the Road Warriors and the Midnight Express with that Skywalker's match, Luger and Flair from 88. There's a lot of examples of like the big feuds and big matches building to Starrcade in the first few years, the first handful of events from 83 to 88. And then in 89, you kind of saw a shift a little bit where they shifted Starrcade away to more gimmicky type of events. They started adding more and more events like the Great American Bash. Super Brawl would come in the early 90s and a few other things. And once they started adding more shows, you saw a shift starting with 89 where Starrcade became more of like a gimmicky event. In 89, it was the Iron Man tournaments, the tag one and the singles one. This was because the big feud with Ric Flair and Terry Funk had already been paid off, and they didn't want to do Sting and Flair right away. They wanted to give that time to build, and they saved it for 1990, and ultimately Sting and Flair happened at Great American Bash 1990. Now, granted, it happened later than it was supposed to because of the injury to Sting, but in any case, there was a reason why Starrcade 89 turned out the way it did and why it was kind of like nothing really happened on this show type of show. It was just kind of a gimmicky thing that they did. And the trend continued when you look at Starrcade 91 and 92, which was all about the Battle Bowls. And in 95, they did the World Cup with New Japan, which really had no impact on any storylines at all. It was just something that they did. And then as WCW started to add more and more pay-per-view events, kind of the standing of Starrcade as this major, again, season finale ending type of event became diminished more and more and more. I already talked about how Sting and Flair was saved for 1990. In 91, you could argue that in 1990, you could argue that the big feud heading into Starrcade would have been Sting and Luger, but they opted to do Sting and the Black Scorpion instead and kind of pay off that mystery. But really the bigger match would have been Sting and Luger, but they decided to save that for Super Brawl the next year. Sting and Vader would have been the big title match to do in 92, especially considering the big match that they had at Great American Bash 92. They opted not to do that. They did Sting and Vader in the King of Cable match to give Sting kind of a revenge win over Vader, and then that set them up for the rubber match at Super Brawl, which was their best match, the White Castle of Fear strap match. That amazingly brutal match that they had. 94 was a really interesting one where we see Hulk Hogan introduced. He has that big match with Flair in 94 at Bash of the Beach. Then they have the retirement cage match at Halloween Havoc. And then at Starrcade, what did they do? They did Hogan versus the Butcher. Now, this has been a talking point for a lot of years where it's like, Hogan put his friend in the main event spot, and oh my god, I can't believe that they did this match in the biggest pay-per-view of the year. And if you look at Starrcade at this point like a season finale type of show, yeah, it's like, oh my god, what they did, Hogan versus Brutus, the fucking Barber Beefcake, that's fucking stupid. But in actuality, they'd already did the big match with Flair. They had already done Hogan versus Flair twice. So they already did those matches. And do people remember how Starrcade 94 ended? It ended with Hogan beating the Butcher to the surprise of absolutely no one, and him having a stare down and a confrontation with Vader, setting up a much bigger match for what were considered the bigger shows at that point, which was probably, Super Brawl was probably considered a bigger show at that point, so they wanted to save Hogan versus Vader for Super Brawl, and that was probably the mindset. So really, Hogan versus Butcher, or Hogan versus Brutus the fucking Barber Beefcake, wasn't the main event of the biggest pay-per-view of the year. It was like kind of a placeholder until they got to bigger matches for bigger shows down the road, in the perception of WCW, if not the perception of the fans. Like I said, Starrcade 95, they basically put all their major storylines on hold with the Dungeon of Doom and Hogan and Savage and the Four Horsemen and everything, and instead did the WCW New Japan gimmick event with the only major storyline that kind of developed there was Flair winning the title back from Savage, but that was almost felt like it almost felt like an aberration on the show because everything else on that show was about WCW versus New Japan. So, oh wait, we have a match that actually matters? That's crazy. It's crazy talk. And even in 96, when they did Hogan and Piper, which felt like a big deal, and had billed and felt like the big match and got the buy rate to prove it, that was the non-title match. They saved the title match for Super Brawl. And this pattern, you see this pattern kind of continue. And then 1998 was a really interesting one because you look at the card for Halloween Havoc 98. I have it pulled up here. Goldberg DDP for the title, Hogan Warrior, Hall and Nash, Brett and Sting, and the Battle of the Steiners in that whole situation. I mean, forget the fact that Hogan Warrior was absolutely terrible. Forget the fact that Goldberg DDP, the pay-per-view feed cut out, and people didn't get to see what was by far the best match on that show, and my personal favorite match in Halloween Havoc history. Forget the fact that Brett and Sting didn't live up, Hall and Nash didn't live up, and all these other things. That looks like a much bigger show than what we got at Starrcade 98. Like, what were the big matches at Starrcade 98? We got Goldberg Nash for the title, which you could argue was a bigger title match than DDP and Goldberg, but then the undercard big matches were like DDP and the Giant, Bischoff Flair, Hogan's not there, Brett's not there. Like, it was like a lot of people were left off that card. So Halloween Havoc, to feed into what Bischoff had said, Halloween Havoc on paper looks like the much bigger show, the much more star-studded card. And Starrcade 98 kind of looks like something that they threw together, you know, with a couple of feuds like Goldberg Nash and Bischoff Flair. And that's it. Not a whole lot there. There were some exceptions. I want to highlight those exceptions to what I'm saying is not a perfect science or anything. Exceptions where Starrcade felt like it had a WrestleMania-style, season finale-style kind of build to it. I talked about Hogan and Piper in 96, kinda. It's non-title, so I have a hard time like giving them that leeway. 93, you had Flair and Vader for the title, career versus title, which felt like a kind of WrestleMania-style moment for Ric Flair. Even though it wasn't the original plan. The original plan was Sid versus Vader, but the infamous stabbing incident with Sid kind of prevented that from happening. And even that, you know, to be fair, like Sid and Vader would have had a long-term build-up to it because they were partners earlier in the year, and then it was going to be this battle of the two unstoppable forces down the road. So they were just kind of lucky that they had Flair come back in 93 to kind of jumpstart this whole storyline that they had. So it was nice that they had something to fall back on. And obviously Sting and Hogan in 97 was like the biggest match in Starrcade history, if not the most disappointing for sure. But it did have that kind of, again, season finale WrestleMania type of build into it. So let me see what you all are saying. I feel like Kevin Owens is a part of every Survivor Series team every single year. The last few Survivor Series have kind of like run together in my mind, so I couldn't tell you. NXT was always used as a weapon to hurt the growth of wrestling. I've heard that accusation thrown. It was basically used to kill the indies. That's the accusation. WWE probably have no use for Survivor Series anymore if there wasn't a brand split. There's a lot of shows they could drop, to be perfectly honest. I feel Double or Nothing is AEW's WrestleMania since it was their first show. That's fair. WrestleMania is up there with the Super Bowl. World Series is a must-see event every year, even if you aren't a wrestling fan. I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't know how many non-wrestling people watch WrestleMania. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I think All Out is supposed to be AEW season finale, but I see it as Double or Nothing. Again, any answer is as good as ever. Best 83 weeks moment ever on Starrcade 94. Conrad, the show wasn't that bad. Eric, what are you fucking high? There were things I did like on Starrcade 94. It's not the worst show ever. It's not a good show, but it's not the worst show ever. There were things I enjoyed. Actually, match of the night, I would give to Vader Duggan. I thought Vader Duggan was awesome. I really enjoyed that match. According to Forbes, WrestleMania is the 6th most valuable sports brand, ranked above the World Series and Daytona 500. That's interesting. If anything, Flair winning the belt kicked off the feud with Savage in the early part of 96. Yeah, exactly. Best and worst traditional Survivor Series match in your opinion? Oh, best? Oh, God. Hulkamaniacs versus $1 Million Team in 89 is one that I have a lot of love for because it made me mark out so much as a kid. The first 20-man tag one from 87 I really like. The women's one from 87 I really like. Team Austin versus Team Bischoff from 03 is a great one. Those are the ones that instantly jump out at me when I think of the best ones. Are you sure you don't want to sneak in another viewing of John Cena versus Triple H at WrestleMania 22 before the stream ends? I do not. Thank you. Bash of the Beach could also be seen as a season finale show for WCW. Well, I'll get into that, actually, in my final thoughts here. Starcade was not that season finale show. Or at least it started off as one, but then it ultimately got transitioned into something else. And I think WCW, as they added more shows, they went into more of a sectional format. Let's build into the big shows. And Starcade felt like something that was being done out of obligation because it was the first. It was the granddaddy of them all. But I think it lost its standing as the biggest show in WCW. And I think a lot of the fans kind of assume that it's the biggest show because it was the first, and it was the biggest show for the first few years, but I think the first few years kind of influenced how fans thought of it, and I think it eventually transitioned into being something else. Again, just a show that was done out of obligation more than anything else. I think shows like Super Brawl, Great American Bash, Bash of the Beach, and Halloween Havoc, you could argue throughout the 90s, yielded potentially larger events. In terms of their significance to WCW from a storyline perspective. Again, with some exceptions, like Starrcade 97. And really, WCW was probably more in that sectional format style that I talked about. The problem is that the sectional format becomes unsustainable when you do a pay-per-view a month. And then it just becomes a fucking mess. So, and again, WCW kind of oversaturated themselves into oblivion, among other problems, so... I guess we can call that yet another problem that they caused. The one problem I had with Vader Duggan in Starrcade 94 is Vader should have squashed him, given Vader was going after Hogan in 95, but Vader Duggan was competitive. That's a fair criticism. Duggan, I don't know, Duggan was weird in that he was that babyface that always got beat up, and people still thought of him as a tough guy. It's really weird. I don't know how he achieved that. Also, it helps that Duggan was legitimately like the one of the toughest guys in pro wrestling behind the scenes, supposedly. So I don't know. Once Nitro came around, I think WCW tried to make that the biggest show over any other pay-per-views. I would agree with that. I think that's a fair statement. Nitro became the flagship branding for WCW, and it was more important to handle Nitro than it was to handle the pay-per-views. When do you think you will stop watching wrestling altogether? Oh, I don't know. Probably never, because I'll always go back and watch old stuff. I'll always go back and watch old stuff. Even if every product today is absolute garbage, I will always go back and watch old stuff. So there's that. So, yeah, so that was my Starrcade video. Any comments before I start getting ready for the watch-along? Start kicking this up. Let me pull up the WWE Network real quick. I think Duggan had the Worf effect, where to establish a bad guy, you beat up the toughest guy. That's a very interesting way to look at it, yeah. Where it's like, and a lot of Star Trek fans have pointed that out. It's like they set up Worf as the tough guy, but then he always gets his ass kicked by the Monster of the Week to try and make the Monster of the Week look strong, but then it just makes Worf look like garbage because he never kicks anybody's asses. He does sometimes, though. I think Slammiversary was more like their SummerSlam. I think Bound for Glory was undeniably their biggest show. They always treated it like it was. How long before the stream gets pulled? We shall find out. So, I have pulled up Survivor Series 98 on the WWE Network. Again, there will be no sound, no visuals. You will just get my running commentary, and that is it. And hopefully they don't pull me. So, we're going to give this a try. I will give you guys a few minutes to pull up the WWE Network, and you watch along with me. I'm going to go get fill up my water bottle real quick. I will be right back. Give me about 5 minutes. Patrick, you forgot about Sid versus Steiner. Oh, God, how can I forget about Sid versus Steiner? Oh, my God. Biggest match in Starrcade history, for sure. Yeah, I know. I'm doing the self-isolation thing because I want to spend Thanksgiving with my family, so we're doing we're doing a self-isolation thing just to make sure we can all spend the holiday together. Because although I'm at a point right now where I'm like, anybody that tells me I can't spend Thanksgiving with my family can go fuck themselves, because I just watched the governor of fucking California have a birthday dinner with a bunch of his elitist buddies. So it's like, man, they fucking do it. Why can't I do it? Fuck those people. Anyway, I'll be right back. Give me 5 minutes. Alright, I am back. Filled up my water bottle, and I also made fruit punch and vodka. It was just something that I threw together quite quickly. So, are you watching in silence? No, I will be commenting on the pay-per-view in progress, but you won't be able to hear or see the pay-per-view, giving YouTube no reason to shut down this stream. Alright. Okay, so let's punch in the headsets. Let's go. Let's go. Daniel O'Leary. Yes, I am sick to death of it as well. I am totally sick to death of it. But let's go into a Survivor Series that I am not sick to death of, and that is Survivor Series 1998, the Deadly Games. And if I'm not mistaken, it was the first Survivor Series event to not have any team elimination matches. They instead decided to pull kind of a WrestleMania 4 because of all the controversy with the WWF title coming out of, I believe the events were Breakdown and Judgment Day. There was no WWE champion. So we didn't have a WWE champion for like 3 months, 2-3 months, whatever it was. It was crazy. And it was finally resolved at this pay-per-view, Survivor Series 1998, with the 14-man tournament that ultimately became one of the best one-night storylines ever done in the history of wrestling pay-per-view. Where does Survivor Series 98 rank in the pantheon of Survivor Series? I put it in the top 5, to be honest. It's at least in the top. It's my top 5 favorites. Do you have any desire to try? I would actually be very curious in trying that, but before I try that, I want to try the Crystal Skull Vodka from Dan Aykroyd. I wanted to try that. I've heard it's good, but I could never find it anywhere. Man, I'm so cool. Oh god, if WWE did like a cross-brand, like with other companies for Survivor Series, that would be amazing. I would watch the shit out of that. The problem with brand warfare is that it doesn't matter who's on Raw or SmackDown. It really just doesn't matter. So why should I invest in it? This show proves storytelling is greater than match quality. Yes, it does. Now, I recall some of these matches being lousy. There are some matches on the show I recall were terrible. I remember the women's title match being bad. I remember the tag title match being bad. But nobody cared because the storyline was so goddamn good. And it was really a great piece of work. And I got to give Vince Russo credit because he was the head writer at this point. And he obviously had a lot of input here. And I think they did... Vince Russo, Vince McMahon, and all the performers involved in this, I thought, hit it out of the park with what they accomplished with the show. It's, for all the issues that WrestleMania 4 had, and there were plenty of issues, this show got it right. So, with that said, I'm going to be pressing play. I will give a countdown 10 seconds. So if you're following along on the WWE Network, I will press play in 10 seconds, and you can start the show as well and follow along, if you choose to do so. All right, so the countdown will begin in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
14 men with a dream. Power. Recognition.
I'm going to talk about that match. The best thing is when you see how the show ends, you go back and you look at some of the stepping stones to get to the ending. It's like, oh my god, you had to go back and... It's one of the few pay-per-views. I had to go back and rewatch it just to see all the building blocks to get to the ending. Because it's almost like the wrestling equivalent of like Fight Club, where it's like the movie becomes instantly rewatchable because of the twist. And it's like, well, now I gotta go back and watch the movie and see if I catch any of the clues.
The takes.
Cornette just had a stroke somewhere at you giving Russo credit. You know what? This show might be Russo's greatest accomplishment as head writer.
Pain.
Longest reign by vacant? I think so. I think this is the longest we've ever gone without a WWE champion.
And now,
you can hear the audio? You should not. Are you fucking with me, or... You should be able to hear it. You should not be able to hear it. I'm literally wearing headsets, and I can't hear it. Like, okay. Fight Club had a twist? Yeah, it did. How's that even possible? That shouldn't be happening. Okay, let me try this with the headset again. Well, I've turned it off. I'm just trying to make sure. You shouldn't hear anything. There's no way. Okay, I'm going to press play again. Can you hear it? Can you still hear the show? Because I can't hear it. You can hear it. That's amazing, because, so somehow the headsets are feeding, the audio into the stream, even though... That's amazing. Yeah. Well, you know what? If you can hear it, fuck it. I'm not going to try and cover it up. And they can shut me down if they want. Fuck it. God damn it. Alright, let's see how long this goes before they shut me down. There's Jared welcoming us to the show. That's amazing, because I don't know. Somehow the audio is feeding into both the headsets and the stream. That's amazing. Because when I had this headsets off, I couldn't hear anything. That's crazy. Well, you know what? I did my due diligence. I did my best. If they want to shut me down, they can shut me down. I'm just going to play it. Keep the audio low. I feel like I'm watching porn and I'm like, my mom, I'm waiting for, like, it's like you're 13, 14 years old, you're watching porn and you're just kind of like looking over your shoulder, making sure mommy can't see you. Keep the audio low. The 12th event. Oh god, remember the little blimps that used to fly around the arena? I actually think the audio was better than times you didn't try to cover it. Can't hear it now. Can you tell us when the bell rings? I will do that. Oh god, look at those crowds. I miss crowds. And look, all their signs have curse words in them. Remember when crowds were cool? Remember when wrestling was cool? JR and Jerry Lawler, in 98, there wasn't a better commentary team around. How long before the FBI is at your door? I don't know. I mean, I ran into Google. I told the government to shove it. I'm watching copyrighted material and live streaming about it. I'm one, like, terroristic threat away from having the government just explode my ass right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, the owner of the world...
Here we go. The opening match is going to be Mankind versus his mystery opponent. Russo was good if Russo had a filter. That's probably true. He strikes me as a great idea guy. And there's Vince in the wheelchair, playing off of when Undertaker and Kane broke his ankle. They're helping him up.
I have promised you...
Patrick about to get swatted. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
WWF champion tonight. I've guaranteed you that this will be a survivor...
What's your favorite WWE crowd sign that you've seen on TV or live?
It gives me...
I don't know. I remember one. It was Fully Loaded 98. And a couple of fans were holding up the letters to say suck it. And then the guy holding the S flipped it around and it said F. So it said, for a brief second, you saw fuck it in the crowd and TV. And I thought that was funny.
One small step for man, one giant leap for man.
Well, it's owned by WWE. And here comes Mankind, who was the corporate champion, Vince's hand-picked guy. And Foley at this point was doing an interesting bit where he was like the only babyface that liked Vince. And Vince eventually found out, before being annoyed by him, yeah, you know, because he was irritated by him because, remember, the hospital visit. The hospital visit with Yerpel the Clown and Mr. Sacco, the birth of Mr. Sacco and all that other stuff. And here, Vince eventually realized he could manipulate Mick Foley, and so he used that to his advantage. And here we go. Mankind's in a suit, he's got the mask on, and he's got the hardcore title belt, which Vince gave him. And would eventually become like an officially sanctioned title for a few years. This pay-per-view made both The Rock and Mick Foley true main eventers. I agree with that. I think the sympathy that Mankind got at the end, and the just the heat that The Rock got at the end, I think it pushed them both over the top. WrestleMania 15 was a fiasco. That show was terrible. It was like a bad... There are episodes of Raw that are significantly better than WrestleMania 15. Triple H buried my sign. That's pretty good. Mr. Sacco.
The mystery opponent.
Now, some people were probably pissed off at this at the time. And if they were to do this today, people would probably hate it. But again, servicing the storyline, the reveal of Mankind's mystery opponent is genius in how everything plays out. Because Vince manipulated everything to go the way he wanted it to go. And he wanted Mankind to make it to the finals, and he wanted The Rock to make it to the finals. So to get Mankind there, he gave him an easy first match, which was the man, the myth, the legend, Dwayne Gill, who was a career jobber for the WWF. At the time, I remember on the internet, there was speculation that the mystery opponent was going to be Shawn Michaels. But they never promoted it on TV as being that big of a deal. So it actually made sense for it to be a complete nobody.
The World Wrestling Federation has been sidelined for the past 2 years. With his career,
Mr. Sacco got way over. It was crazy.
he fought back with resilience, dreaming of this triumphant return to the ring.
This speech right here by Vince is awesome. I love this speech.
Without further
he builds up Dwayne Gill, and he says the name Dwayne Gill, and I'm like, who the fuck is Dwayne Gill?
Of the Pasadena Chargers, the man,
The myth,
the myth, Dwayne Gill.
Dwayne Gill.
What is he?
Dwayne Gill. The future Gilbert.
I know him. That's Dwayne Gill. Well, I'm not.
Oh, when Vince was red hot, man, like,
Video.
nobody was as good as him at getting heat. Like, Vince was amazing at this point in time.
More time on the canvas than Rembrandt.
Spent more time on the canvas than Rembrandt. That is, he has a highlight package. Look at this, and it's all guys delivering moves to him.
Mr. Vince McMahon. Well, I tell you what.
One half of the Toxic Turtle, really? Awesome.
I don't think Dwayne's what.
His pyro scare. Well, he's bald-headed. He looks like he could pass for a turtle.
I think that I was informed as to
Vince's speech even makes it sound like it's going to be HBK.
is an elementary school football team. It's not as against
Who's more over, Head or Mr. Sacco? At that point in time, I think Head was pretty over, but I think Mr. Sacco was more over.
I don't think McMahon.
Just my thought.
Watch this one.
And here we go. Mankind's already attacking him. This is going to be a quick one. By the way, Foley is wrestling in a suit,
Dwayne Gill,
like a full tuxedo.
preliminary competitor, has been hand-selected by the owner of this company to face Mankind in this first round match.
Double arm DDT.
DDT.
You can pin him right now. Why bother?
Look at those shoes Mankind's wearing. Mankind got a big makeover.
Nice roll up. 1, 2, 3. It's over.
I've never seen Mankind use that maneuver before, but in any event,
Please, can you do this once a month? I can't
Mankind lost
commit to once a month, but I would like to do these more regularly, sure.
a fan from Long Island, known to his mom and daddy as Mick Foley.
This was back when Foley still had the, Mankind had a different entrance theme and a different exit theme. Only wrestler to ever have that, I think.
Sure as heck was.
So to the surprise of no one, Mankind advanced past the man, the myth, Dwayne Gill.
The other athletes here to determine a new champion. Amazing. Folks, that's taking
When you've got a wrestling match at 7, but a prom at 9.
women's champion
Well, we're going to be seeing Mankind quite a few more times this show.
to be the champion.
And it's interesting to, listening to the podcast, especially on their Sable, she is like the definition. Sable at this point in time is just the definition of milfy hot. Like, she looks like the hottest mom on the planet.
Standing by with Kevin Kelly.
Go after what Jacqueline did to you on Heat.
A promo by Sable. This should be
Throw you
good.
off your game plan.
Kevin, she didn't throw me off my game plan. The only thing that Jacqueline did was piss me off. Now I'm more determined than ever. I guarantee you that tonight I will become the new WWF Women's Champion.
There you go.
Well, I think that Jacqueline has lit a fire under the challenger tonight.
It's a shame we don't get to hear you sing along to HBK's theme during this.
Potty mouth. She's more determined than ever.
Foley. Oh, when Foley passes, you'll play his exit theme in tribute. That would be actually weirdly fitting.
Jeff Jarrett.
Speaking of big-breasted blondes, here comes Deborah with Jeff Jarrett. Don't piss me off. With Deborah McMichael renewing their relationship from WCW the previous year when they were in the Horsemen. Different sets for their pay-per-views, right? It just looks so cool. WCW did it too, and it just always looks so much cooler to have like a different set. So you knew you were watching a different show. Sable was white hot night. Yes, she was. She was insanely over. Like, I would argue Sable deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, just for few stars, male or female, have gotten over to the level that Sable did.
And Deborah McMichael.
Mrs. Brock Lesnar.
The 19th in Milwaukee on Raw. And they have been red hot. And it's red hot here in St. Louis as well. Looking outside alive.
Oh, look at that. We've got Undertaker and Steve Austin inflatables right outside the arena. It actually looks pretty cool. Although Undertaker's wearing his 96 getup with the purple gloves.
St. Louis Blues of the National Hockey League here.
No longer Queen Deborah, no.
What does everybody want?
And we've got Al Snow. Now, I have a memory of this match. Speaking of big breasts, I have a specific memory of this match. Now, you'll notice, you'll notice Mr. Sacco is tied around Head. to motivate Mick Foley. It's like, oh, he stole Mr. Sacco from you. And even in the previous match, Foley looked like he was grabbing into his pants to look for Mr. Sacco, but he couldn't find him. Turns out Al Snow has Mr. Sacco.
To advance in that particular competition.
He stole it.
So Jeff Jarrett's got a score to settle here, but you never know what
Alexa Bliss, I don't know. Again, Alexa Bliss, everybody talks about how hot she is. I'm like, she looks like a fucking teenager. She looks like, when somebody told me she was almost 30, I almost shit my pants. I'm like, dude, she looks like she could pass for 14. I'm not kidding. Like, Sable looked like a woman. Granted, you know, enhanced surgically, but still, she looked like a woman. Alexa Bliss looks like a minor. Oh, what a dive by Al there.
only winners advance in this tournament. Consequently, a time limit draw.
Who was more over, Sable or her tits? Fair question.
Eliminate both competitors.
This match started before
Mick Foley was in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah, he was the Boulder.
Jarrett, a two-time
The Boulder does not like this. Stun gun by Jeff.
success too often would be somewhat of
Do love dancing with girls on stage and referring to Vince. Good grief, what does he think he is, Dick Clark? Yeah, JR was always great. Foley was the one man that could get away with pulling something floppy and white out of his pants on TV. I know, right?
of this tournament. Already in the quarter.
Here come the head chants.
Of a couple of buys. Compliments
Jeff Jarrett, I like Jeff Jarrett. I always felt like he was
each
underrated.
other here tonight in the quarterfinals.
People didn't appreciate like how good of a worker he really was, how good of a heel he really was. Actually, Jimmy Hart made a comment once about Jeff. Is that the worst thing I can say about Jeff Jarrett is that he's the best babyface and he's the best heel and he can't wrestle himself, which speaks a lot to like just how good Jarrett really is as a talent.
King snapping off the neck breaker of Jeff Jarrett. So it's Al Snow with the advantage.
Well, that's unusual. Jeff Jarrett's got a lot to prove here. From the
What's Al doing? Going up top?
pick to advance and actually become the champion.
Oh, guillotine leg drop misses.
Al Snow missed
No water in the pool.
Well, Tennessee was very fortunate yesterday to pull one out with the Arkansas Razorbacks.
What do you mean for
Drop kick by Jarrett. That's a nice drop kick.
Great drop kick by
Look at that.
Jarrett, going for the cover. And that's the name of the game here. Go for those covers as often.
You know, considering how much cleavage was shown back in the day in WWE and how much skin they showed, it's amazing there weren't more wardrobe malfunctions. Crucifix by Al. Look at that.
Move into the pinning combination.
Jackknife roll up by no.
And now Jarrett
Nope.
looking for the cover. Snow counters into another near fall. And Snow beating Jarrett to the
Broke 6,000 guitars, never drew a dime. I can't believe that line stuck. It's like, yeah, it's Jeff Jarrett's fault that WCW's in the shitter. Like, the fact that he would get any blame for that. Oh, nice!
spine buster, but it was
He countered a spine buster into a DDT. Al did. That was nice. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
out of it. DDT-like maneuver.
1, 2. Kick out by Jarrett.
Shoulder up the right one this time.
Have you ever heard Al Snow's story of him getting on a flight and experiencing turbulence with some Jesus freaks? Hilarious stuff. I never have. That sounds great. I'm sure it's a great story.
No doubt about it.
Suplex. Oh, atomic drop.
Atomic drop by
Oh, meaning of the minds. Accidentally.
Sitting in the mind, so to speak, with hey, look at this. Deborah
What was your first impression of The Undertaker? As a kid, here's Deborah with the head.
What does she know about head anyway? She should leave that
What does she know about head anyway? JR, God damn it.
for his security blanket.
Al Snow's got the guitar. What's he going to do with it? Jarrett's got head. They traded weapons.
Snow's got the head. Jarrett's got the guitar.
Oh, missed with the guitar. Oh, clobbered him with head.
Got in the back of the head.
with the head?
And now Al gets the head. Oh, he just no-sold the headshot.
With that wooden head.
That finish could have been done better. It's like Al Snow just no-sold the headshot completely and then beat Jarrett with one.
You know what this means? Snow could be the next champion.
What's more important to you for getting into a character, their in-ring work or their character? Oh, the character, because that's the first impression. The look, the promos. Before the bell rings, that's the stuff that really catches me.
A wooden head and a tube sock. Well, Jarrett tried to take a shortcut there and it backfired on him, King, and as a result, Al Snow...
Here's Deborah with the head. Proof that context is everything. Well, anyway, I remembered that match. Wasn't there a segment? Maybe it was a different show, but there was a show where Deborah took head and, like, rubbed it in her cleavage. Maybe that was on an episode of Raw.
And still to come, as a matter of fact, in just a couple of moments, it'll be the Rattlesnake and the Big Boss Man.
No more Deborah tonight.
One of the most eagerly anticipated first-round matchups here in the Deadly
The Twitter mob would lose it if JR said that today, right? God damn. I hate Twitter so much. I've already ranted about Google and YouTube. It's like, you know what else pisses me off? Fucking Twitter and its bullshit with everybody getting all pissed off about everything that people says. Fuck them. I don't know why I'm doing a southern accent, but man, fuck them goddamn Twitter fucking mob people. I fucking hate them. They're just a fucking hive mind. They get mad over every little goddamn thing that happens. People need to calm the fuck down because they're making me angry, raising my blood pressure. Fuck those motherfuckers. And they expose the business and ruin wrestling. See, now it's turning into a Cornette thing. Expose the business, ruin wrestling, like Shawn Michaels, all those little butt buddies in the clique. They got together in Madison Square Garden and fucking exposed the business, took a shit in Vince's backyard, and just, got the little curtain call and got to be little butt buddies and everything. Fuck Shawn Michaels, fuck Kevin Nash, fuck Scott Hall, and fuck that big-nosed bastard Triple H. Fuck them all. How come Taker and Kane got a bye? Because, kind of like Hogan and Andre in 88, they were the ones that the controversy centered around. So it's like they were kind of the two top-seeded guys. So that's why. Because Taker and Kane were the ones that caused the... Here comes Stone Cold in the third match. This is rare. But it was justified because Taker and Kane were kind of like the two top seeds for the title. Here we go. Austin versus Boss Man. And this version of Boss Man, he was physically past his prime, but goddamn, what a great heel. Like, he did the most evil shit. Look at his feuds with Al Snow and the Big Boss Man, or with the Big Show, to see what I'm talking about. I almost said Big Boss Man feuded with himself. Oh, Vince is watching the monitor. He wants Boss Man to beat Stone Cold. Luthez press! Here comes that elbow, motherfucker! He flipped the bird while dropping an elbow. You gotta love that. You just gotta love that about Steve. I wish they wouldn't censor anything because they... Oh, low blow. That should have been a DQ. That should have been a DQ, ref. Kyoto, what are you doing? Kyoto should be fired. That should have been a DQ. Oh, what he did to Pepper. Oh, yeah, what he did to Pepper is one of the most hilariously evil things that a heel has ever done. This was Boss Man's first match back after his return. I forgot about that. Yeah, the timeline, man, wraps up because he came in briefly before then. So, yeah, you're right. Would you agree that Austin never put anyone over? They put over, like, Triple H and Rock, but they were already stars. I don't know if Austin made any stars. That's the thing. Like, how many people did he make? I don't know if Austin made a whole hell of a lot of guys. Hey, all meat tastes like chicken.
And the Boss Man got an ear fall. Remember, it's 10-minute time limits in the first round. We expect these matches to be very fast-paced, very offensive-minded. And remember, only winners advance, and ref, that's illegal, by the way.
Told me the history of red. Oh, yeah, Cornette's telling of this Montreal Screwjob is one of the greatest things I've ever heard. Come on, Austin. You can fight through this. You can beat the Boss Man. Come on. Let's see someone in WWE today drag away their opponent's dad's casket. Yeah, right. The father of the Shield? Yeah, he's wearing Shield gear. And that was a good look. I kind of like that look for him. Boom. Nice shot by Boss Man. What happened to First Pepper or Cartman feeding parents to that guy on South Park? Oh, when Cartman, Scott Tenorman, when Cartman fed him his parents? That whole shit? He did put over Kurt Angle. He did help Kurt Angle. But Kurt Angle was already world champion before they even crossed paths. So it's like, how many people did Austin help elevate, I think is my question. Boss Man, he was so easy to hate, and he was just a cog in, spoke in the wheel, cog in the machine at that point. But he was fun to watch just for how hateable he could get. His matches weren't that good, but it was like, but he was such a great character, which I think he was great as a heavy. I wish they wouldn't censor the middle finger. It's like, dude, you have the warnings on there. Like, come on, you don't need to censor anything. You cheer. Oh, he hit him with the nightstick. DQ. And Vince is smiling. It's like, look, I just need him to hurt Austin. Make sure he can't advance too much. You were cheering Boss Man versus Al Snow when I rewatch old wrestling. One of the great quotes from that was, John Wayne is threatening to leave MGM to go to 20th Century Fox because he has to put over the Indians. Jesus fucking Christ, folks. Jesus fucking Christ, folks. What the fuck? I always called him the Big Boss Man. Like, even when WCW changed his name like 19 times, I was like, nah, he's just the Big Boss Man. I'm just going to call him Boss Man. Austin elevated Brock. Oh, wait, no. No, he did not.
I don't like it a bit. Wow. And Austin has been mugged and assaulted by a 300-pound man with a nightstick. I think he's coming back. He's coming back. Hey, come on, enough.
Come on, goddammit. Austin has a family, damn it. He's got mom and dad watching at home, goddammit. What are you doing? My God. Probably get a bonus for that. That goddamn Vince. Fuck that guy. That son of a bitch. Is it weird that I find Cornette more annoying than Russo? I don't know how that's possible. Like, Russo, I literally can't listen to him talk. Because it's just, every other word is bro. And it's like, I can't. Cornette, I could listen to endlessly as he weaves a verbal tapestry of all the random shit that he says. Like, Russo, I can't get through 5 minutes of listening to him.
The night is very, very young. There's more where that came from. Austin's in for it.
All right. I'm sure WCW did screw up and call him Boss Man. Alrighty. First round is winding down. Second round is taking shape. He's got a woman to beat, goddammit. He's got a wife that he needs to go home and beat. He needs to get drunk and slap his woman, goddammit.
World Wrestling Federation champion. Austin may have busted ribs. He may have internal injuries from that. He got whipped like a government mule with that nightstick. I don't even see I can walk. Well, nobody else probably would be walking.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, Boss Man's eulogy for Big Show's dad. That was... Whoo, boy. That was some heavy stuff. You would never get away with that today. Russo and Cornette are different sides of the same coin. Both think they are 100% right 100% of the time. They weirdly are similar in a weird way. Like, they are, like, so stuck in their ways that they're convinced of their own brilliance that they can't see the forest through the trees a lot of the times. They won't admit to their own mistakes most of the time. What boozes in the Gatorade bottle? Nothing. It's just water. Okay, we got X-Pac. Now, this was one of his first matches after coming back, because he didn't wrestle initially when he came in March. Like, I think, well, he's a European champion here, but I think, didn't he just, like, start wrestling, like, a month or two before this? Actually, no, I take it back. He was at SummerSlam. He was at SummerSlam, so he did have the feud with Jarrett, that hair versus hair match. So, maybe he started some point in the summer. Oh, son of a bitch. It was Vince the whole time. Goddamn. Now, this is poor Lord Steven Regal doing a lumberjack gimmick. He's a real man's man. He's a real man's man. Look, not all the gimmicks in the Attitude Era were great. It also doesn't help that Regal was probably drugged out of his mind at this point. Pre-X-Pac, yeah, but X-Pac was mad over for a while.
Come on, I like that song.
Would the world be as PC in the 90s as it is today if social media was big then as it is now? I don't know. I don't know. Everything back then was so counterculture. Like, even if social media existed, I think it would have been like... For people that say Twitter's too negative, like, dude, it would have been so much worse back in the day. I remember what AOL chat rooms were like. Thank you very much.
Thinks that an American should not be the European champion. Well, you got to agree with that, right? Well, not necessarily. This man Wynn has a little bit of credence here, I think.
Yeah, we're going to give the British guy an American lumberjack gimmick. Ooh!
Opposed to that style of the explosive and quick-hitting X-Pac.
Ooh, look at that.
Left side down in the corner by X-Pac. I'll tell you what, the young 26-year-old...
Nice back suplex.
X-Pac has been red hot lately. Good going for the cover. The suplex, the cover.
When I was 10, I bought the Rise and Fall of WCW, and that's the DVD with the Jeff Jarrett never sold a dime line. And even 10-year-old me thought that was bullshit. It was bullshit. It's like, oh yeah, let's blame Jeff Jarrett. It was totally... I was like, if there's anybody that's blameless in the fall of WCW, it's Jeff fucking Jarrett. That guy broke himself to try anything that stupid company was throwing at him at that point. A dead company, and he did everything he could to try and keep it afloat. Man deserved a medal. Real men squeeze their own orange juice. I mean, that's impractical, but sure. Also, the apparent twist that Steven Regal was going to be gay. A gay lumberjack? I've never heard of that. I've never heard of such a thing. Brock was originally going to be Russian. I've never heard that, really? I could see Vince doing that. I could totally see Vince doing that. Thoughts on Home Alone getting a remake? I wouldn't be surprised if they did remake it because everything gets remade. It shouldn't. Because now, Home Alone, a large parts of it made no sense back then because it was like, why wouldn't he call the cops? The phone lines weren't down while the home invaders were there, and once the phone lines come up, he should have just called the cops and blah, blah, blah. But now with the internet, it's like there's no way that the parents wouldn't be able to get in contact with the kid. Like, a lot of those struggles would be eliminated if they tried to remake it today. Roll up by X-Pac. Boston Crab. No, slingshot into nothing. He just slingshotted him into the mat. X-Pac looked like he tried to leap for the turnbuckle, but he just couldn't reach it.
The real man's man, Steve Regal, is sort of making an example right now out of X-Pac, JR.
Rear chin lock. That's Tim White as the referee. I remember when he was the referee.
Stone Cold Steve Austin in the quarterfinals of Deadly Game here at the...
He was a regular presence of WWE programming for a long time.
X-Pac has been grounded.
Austin is the only top guy in wrestling to never be called out for his politicking by the internet. He used to back in the early internet. Because the theme back in the day was if you were a top guy, the internet hated you. It was like clockwork. If you were a top guy, the internet hated your guts. Except for Ric Flair. Ric Flair was the only one that was untouchable. But they hated Taker, they hated Rock, they hated Austin. I remember Judgment Day 2001, the main event was Taker versus Austin. And a lot of people were writing editorials saying, it's like, oh, look at these two old guys in the main event. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Gut wrench suplex by Regal. The thought of Brock talking at all, that they would think that it's a good idea for Brock to talk, is kind of hilarious.
I think they're discussing back there, Mr. McMahon and his colleagues.
What if Vince is watching the stream and gets ideas from us? Well, one can only hope. According to William Regal himself, whenever he's put on hold when on the phone with the office, they always put the Real Man's Man song on his own. Well, that's such bullshit. I love it. That's a great rib.
Maybe Austin's hurt so bad he won't even be able to wrestle this next match. Austin's breathing. He's going to compete. And he's still breathing. The rattlesnake will slither out here.
Maybe.
According to you, love him.
The slingshot into nothing was a popular wrestling move back in the N64 days. Yeah, it was. It was. So you were on RSPW back in the day. I did read RSPW. Way back when. What were some of the other ones? There was the People's Wrestling website, which I think is still up, isn't it? Isn't that one still up? Even Sting? Were people shitting on Sting back then? I don't remember Sting catching a lot of... Oh! X-Pac just crotched himself. You think Mankind as God Signs would be banned today? Probably. Everything gets banned today. Well, everything literally is banned because we can't have crowds. People forget just how good in the ring. X-Pac was very good in the ring. Yeah, he was. He absolutely was. Regal is the man that... Oh, what are we getting? A top rope? Top rope! Double underhook suplex! X-Pac went flying.
Who's had a history of neck problems, holding his neck there. He may be hurt. Regal's got the body weight on in the lateral press and got an ear fall. How did X-Pac kick out of that? He landed right on his neck.
I don't know. Did he get hurt? Did Tim White get hurt for real in that Hell in a Cell match in 2002? And that, like, ended his career, or did he willingly just walk away? I don't know. I honestly don't know the story behind that. I know they did the stupid suicide segments with him, which were kind of lousy, but yeah.
Regal has X-Pac grounded here. And that certainly takes X-Pac out of his game, but again, the clock can be the enemy of both these athletes. 10-minute time limits in the first round.
Is it weird that I never liked him? Like, well, I mean, there's movies that some people don't like. No movie is truly universal in its appeal. I always liked Home Alone. Of course, I was also 5 when it came out, so I was the perfect age for it.
We didn't get the word from X-Pac, who's never quit this.
It was a legit injury. Okay.
And both these men collide. Regal back in the corner.
Tim White did get hurt. He worked one match at WrestleMania 20, and then it was done after that. Okay. Okay. What match at WrestleMania 20?
Traditional fast-paced offense, but to Regal's credit, Regal has pretty much taken X-Pac.
I just watched a show a week ago where I saw 4 slingshots into nothing. Maybe it's a more common spin kick by X-Pac.
Heel kick. There it is. The game plan's back in. Nicely done. X-Pac got the cover, and Regal kicks out. And Regal back up. He's a little wobbly.
Drop kick.
A drop kick by X-Pac, and Regal in the corner. Uh-oh.
Little column A, little column B. He got hurt. If he was younger, he would have tried to ref again. Maybe. Bronco Buster! The most over move in that man's repertoire. All the fancy things he could do, his most over move was the Bronco Buster. Suplex!
Suplex. A great suplex. What leverage.
I enjoyed Home Alone 3 more. Hate me all you want. I have not watched Home Alone 3 since it first came out. Scarlett Johansson's in it, a young Scarlett Johansson, so she's not hot yet because she's, you know, a child, but...
X-Pac straddled the top rope and then fell right to the floor helplessly. Yeah.
I'm nearly 30 and still have not seen Home Alone.
Right where the easy, we got it.
He was the referee for Jericho and Christian. Okay, cool.
We don't need an anatomy lesson from the King tonight.
Double underhook on the outside. X-Pac blocks it, spins out, suplex. Boom.
Of his own on the outside. And X-Pac hammering away here. And wait a minute. These guys been counted out.
Double count out.
What happened? X-Pac and Regal have both been counted out. That means they're both eliminated.
Both men are eliminated. Now, there's a nice touch here at the end that I really like.
That's what we were told.
Vince is worried because if both men are eliminated, Austin gets a bye. So he's telling Slaughter, no, change this shit now.
Well, that means that Stone Cold Steve Austin will get a bye.
Remember when X-Pac did the Bronco Buster and ripped his anus? Oh, God, that sounds painful.
Neither one of these guys won. They're both eliminated. There you go. You're right on top of it.
Kane was an instant hit.
That's going to fly. That man did say something about overtime, but that
There's Slaughter. Yeah, he's going to try and force an overtime.
this tournament. What's he saying?
5-minute overtime to the finish.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have just been informed by Commissioner Slaughter
But X-Pac has an injury,
continue with a 5-minute
so he can't proceed with the overtime.
Well, that's kind of making the rules up on the fly, isn't it?
Do you think we'll ever see a day where a top AEW star comes to WWE? Probably. I mean, I would think it would happen at some point.
Well then, you gotta ring the bell, restart the match, get in here, referee.
But X-Pac can't continue. He's hurt. So, no overtime.
Now wait, what if X-Pac can't get back in the ring if he can't continue?
The internet would hate Austin's in-ring style nowadays. Probably.
I would assume the right thing to
He
do
can't do dives and flips. He can't.
Not
Can't.
continue.
Austin sucks.
That this match would be over. I can see that Commissioner Slaughter is
Oh my God, Mr. Redhead. that's the line of the chat. X-Pac can't continue, so the bye for Austin stands.
X-Pac is unable to continue here, ladies and gentlemen. What? This match is over. I mean, that's just the way that it is. Oh, wait a minute. I don't care if Mr. McMahon likes it or not. If X-Pac's hurt, he's hurt. Drag him back out.
There's Mark Eaton. He's like the Stan Lee of WWE. Appears somewhere every pay-per-view.
But Vince may not make it. Austin is in good shape from what I hear.
I can't believe what the hell happened.
Austin gets a bye.
It's a bye.
The way it is right now, it is.
Well, indeed.
If he wanted to screw Austin even harder, he would have made them both advance, turning the next match into a triple. Right.
Out there. And
All right, so Austin gets to advance to the semifinals.
Austin is in.
And we'll face the winner of Mankind versus Al Snow.
Now
So
to the semifinals, and that
Vince is going to have to
McMahon-
dig into his bag of tricks. Here I am talking about the semifinals. We're not done with the first round yet. We've got a couple matches to go. Intercontinental Champion, Ken Shamrock.
Shamrock can be an animal. There's no doubt about it.
You want to talk about an underrated guy during the Attitude Era? Ken Shamrock. Legit, like, entertaining, believably tough, played the role well. In any other era, he would have been a world champion, but in the Attitude Era, when you're working with Austin and Rock and all those over-the-top guys, he didn't get, like, that main event run, but Shamrock, I really enjoyed him.
In the semifinals here tonight.
Ken Shamrock versus Goldust. Fresh off of his return, Dustin's return to the Goldust character, and that feud with Val Venus. Where he broke the big Valboski. Val Venus, who was having an affair with Terry Runnels, and her various baby spice themed sexy looks and outfits.
And now pregnant wife Terry. But he better check those problems at the door.
Personal question, did you watch the show with your brother? I did. This night? Yeah. I remember my parents were out of town. They were out of town for some reason. I don't remember why, but they were out of town, and we just stayed at home and watched the pay-per-view. So it was like a fun night. It was like all the kids just got to sit at home and watch, wrestling, and just kind of do what we wanted. Is Shamrock still currently in Impact? I believe he is. I haven't watched Impact in a while, but last I saw he was still there. Are you going to make a prediction video for Wrestle Kingdom? Most likely. Most likely, for sure.
Last year's controversial Survivor
Very Green Goblin with his delivery. You mean Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, I'm sure. I wish we could time warp and bring Shamrock in today. He'd be so perfect. Right? Like, 98 Shamrock in today's product would be amazing.
Oh no. Let's get right down to business. And
Never got Shamrock versus Lesnar. Oh my god, how cool would that match have been.
refined or really scientifically pure. But what he's doing, King, is very, very effective. And if you're historically a
God, I often forget how big Dustin is. But he, like, towers over Shamrock. Like,
before you ever get started,
and Shamrock's not a small man.
the winner of this match will meet the winner of the Rock Triple H match. A little bit
Oh,
later.
missed the flying clothesline. Oh, nice kick by Shamrock.
Hard kick right to the ribs of Goldust. Goldust at 6'6". Pretty good target there for those kicks.
A lot of 420. I see some 420 signs in there. You would see a lot of those back in the Attitude Era. A lot of 420 signs.
Goldust scores with the clothesline, a knockdown on Shamrock. And now a scoop slam.
Oh, Shamrock versus Angle. Yeah, the battle of the ankle locks.
Goldust showing some good athleticism there, King, with that knee drop from a guy 6'6", 260. Nice agility. Without a doubt. You know what? We saw a real man's man out here a little earlier.
Justin is secretly a giant. Well, by today's standards, he practically is a giant because so many of the younger guys are smaller. Like, Billy Gunn looks like a fucking giant compared to most guys today.
Shamrock is going for the cover. Smart.
2.
Good move.
Yeah.
2.5. Shamrock becoming one of the more dominant
Jack's the Kid. Welcome. How you doing?
we have seen in recent memory. But the next step up, the most coveted prize in this game, no doubt, is the title. And every major star
Oh, shit.
that has really made a mark in this business at one time or
Justin should team up with his brother Cody. Oh, wait, wrong decade. How old was Cody at this point? He would have been like,
interesting to see these guys
still like a child, right?
in the locker room that I passed here and there. I mean, for the last week, these guys have been, absolutely fine.
Did we ever get Benoit versus Shamrock, or did Shamrock leave before Benoit got to WWE? No, yeah, Shamrock was gone at the end of '99, right before Benoit got there.
The champion. Some of them know what it's like.
Was Mark Merrow smart for not confronting Brock? Yes, very smart.
First time.
Not brave, but certainly smart.
Shamrock not taking any unnecessary.
WWE is so, like, sanitized today. Like, even though 420, a lot of people are calling for it, and legalization of weed, like, you're not going to see those signs, even when we do get crowds back.
For the cover, and another near fall. Shamrock keeping the pressure on.
Goldust probably wouldn't. I mean, he was still there for a while.
Reaching back on the neck.
A heavily sanitized version of Goldust would be allowed to exist, I'm sure.
What do you think Stone Cold Steve Austin's condition is? I don't know. Well, hopefully we'll get an update on Austin's condition, folks. We're going to try to get an update with Michael Cole. I understand Michael's back in the locker room area, so hopefully Michael Cole will be able to.
Cody was too busy hanging out at WCW shows with his dad.
Condition
I think Cody is your age. Cody's 35.
on that beat.
All right, so he would have been like a 13 years old at this point.
And look at Gold.
Okay, yeah. So wow, Cody's my age. He's a compared. He's the executive vice president of a wrestling company, and I am. I make a good living for myself. Not as good as him, but
Stone Cold's in the semifinals.
we both chose different paths.
Concerned about Austin's condition than Mr. McMahon, of course, excluding yourself. Well, he's the boss, and he's got a bad hurt ankle.
Imagine a Rico character today, right? Right.
Face lock now, Goldust looking for another throw, another suplex. Goldust blocking it. And
Suplex by Goldust.
advantage at 6'6". Able to hoist Shamrock.
Now the big players in this tournament, the big stars are Undertaker, Kane, Rock, Mankind, and Austin. They're the big players. So any match that doesn't involve them, like, there's not a lot of heat for them because we know it's like, okay, those are the 5 we're supposed to care about, and everybody else is just kind of like, it's a necessary part to kind of get to where we need to get where those 5 are involved.
Well, each one of these guys
I am 3 months older than him.
advantage, but it's awfully hard to do.
I am 3 months older than Cody Rhodes.
Goldust looking for power.
Is there anyone in wrestling you
Right hand to the face.
could have been a huge main event superstar?
Well, Jim Cornette
I don't understand you. Is there anyone in wrestling you for could have? Could you rewrite the question, Outlaw? I don't understand.
as if you could
What was Tony Khan doing back then? I have no idea.
don't want to take too many unnecessary.
Probably watching wrestling because he was a
Too
fan.
conservative. And the
Eugene would not go over well today. That was controversial back when they did it. Today, oh god no.
guys will both be eliminated.
Ray started wrestling at 15, right? Yeah, he did.
Maybe look at that shattered dream, and that's not a good idea.
Oh, Shattered Dreams. This is what I hated about Goldust matches back then, is that he would always get himself disqualified with the Shattered Dreams. It's like, dude, why are you doing that? That's stupid. He almost got himself disqualified. It's like, dude, what are you doing? You're a moron.
Stepping in, that would have been a disqualification.
Although earlier we saw a bad Hurricane Rana by Shamrock.
Goldust may have been a little distracted there by the referee.
Belly to belly. Earlier we saw a referee not give someone a DQ for a low blow, so maybe Goldust would have gotten away with it. Ankle lock. This ain't going to last too much longer.
Nowhere for Goldust to go. And Goldust gives it up.
Goldust quits. It's over. Welcome, fellow Australian. Oh, well, not fellow. I'm not Australian, but welcome, Australian fan. I don't know what that name is. It looks like 2 googly eyes. Or 2 quotation marks. I'm not sure. When did Kane just become another guy on the roster? Oh, long after this. He stayed pretty... Time sync check. It is 46 and 27 seconds into the show. Your thoughts on 16-man one-night tournaments? Well, Bischoff talked about this, and I kind of agree with them. They're tough to do because once you've seen a guy, it's hard to get pop for them again once you've already seen them. So it kind of becomes like the show loses energy throughout the night unless you book it really, really well. So they're very hard to do. When you do it well, like this one, or like King of the Ring 93, it can work. And that was only, you know, an 8-man tournament. But one-night tournaments are very, very tricky to do.
You smell what the Rock is cooking.
That was a Cena-level Hurricane Rana. Nick Jackson says he got paid for his first match at 13, a whole $20. You think he framed that $20? Like he saw that this is the first thing I made. I thought it was weird how a ref would stand in the way of someone about to get DQ'd. Well, if it's to prevent an injury, it makes sense. Like, you don't want to... I mean, theoretically, a low blow would be really damaging to somebody. You don't want the other guy to get hurt.
Tremendous ovation from these 21,779 for The Rock.
Here comes The Rock.
The boss, Mr. McMahon.
Rock says...
Under any cost.
Now, he's supposed to face Triple H here, but Triple H was injured not long after SummerSlam. So, there's a replacement. Clue number 1 of the night. Yup. Clue number 1 to what's going to happen. You know how Mick Foley had an easy match early on? Well, we got this thing coming up. And it was so funny because what's about to happen, when it happened live, like we all laughed when we saw it. And we were like, oh man, Rock's going to win the title, babe. Because I was convinced that Rock was going to win the title. And I was right, but I had no idea they were going to do what they ultimately did. Yeah, I wonder whatever happened to Dwayne Johnson. I don't know. And here comes Patterson and Briscoe during the DX entrance. That's hilarious. Good day, mate. I remember hoping they would do another Deadly Game tournament at Survivor Series 2015 when Rollins had to vacate the title. I mean, that was an option. They could have done that. What year do you think Survivor Series became less important than the other big three? Oh, God. I mean, it was always the smallest one of the big four, at least to me. Where it really kind of tapered off when they went to... probably when they went to a pay-per-view a month, like Survivor Series seemed to be the one that was impacted the most by it. Like Royal Rumble felt important, WrestleMania always felt important, Survivor Series always felt important. But when they went to a pay-per-view a month, like Survivor Series stopped feeling like it was that important.
But Triple H chose not to show tonight.
Yeah, he got hurt either at SummerSlam or soon after it, because he dropped the IC title pretty quickly after that.
Triple H very heavily.
Spoilers, Patrick.
Gonna find him? For what? He's had knee surgery, for goodness sake.
God damn, he had knee surgery. I don't know why I add goddamn to my southern accents, but it's just super funny.
It's not all. It's not all, Rock. First of all, I'm happy.
Triple H is being fined for what? He got hurt. It's bullshit.
Forfeit.
ICP can suck it. That's my favorite sign ever. I love that sign. That kid has my favorite sign, whoever that is.
The replacement at the last minute. At the last minute to replace Triple H.
Last minute replacement for Triple H.
The Big Boss Man.
The Big Boss Man's already been eliminated, for goodness sake.
Listen to JR.
Changing the rules as we go along here. This is McMahon's self-appointed bodyguard, the head of McMahon's security force.
Is it weird that Rock looks more toned and in shape now than he did back then? Well, he's got more time on his hands. Than, you know, here we go. He runs in. Roll up. 1, 2, 3. Look at that pop! Oh, the fix is in, man. You don't realize you're being worked. You don't realize you're being fucked with. You're being hornswoggled and bamboozled. Tricked. The wool's being pulled over your eyes. Watching the Attitude Era and the constant interaction between the wrestlers and the ref sums up why I'm not a fan of Aubrey Edwards in AEW. When she's ref, all tension goes out the window. How so? I'd like to hear. I think she gets a little too animated and a little too involved at times, but I don't know if the tension all goes out the window. Yeah, Patterson and Briscoe, they were great. The Stooges, they were great during this period. I loved them. Survivor Series, I think, also got hurt as 6, 8, and 10-man tags became more common, so their Survivor Series matches weren't as special. I agree. 3 seconds? 4 seconds. I think they eventually clocked it in at 4 seconds.
And folks, that is a new record. A 4-second pin. That's what we've been digging for. Well, folks would like to say we're down to the Great 8, but it's not the...
Is that the shortest match in WWE history?
Stone Cold Steve Austin
4 seconds?
An opponent in the quarterfinals. Austin gets the bye as a result of the double countout involving Regal.
So now we're starting with the second round. We've got Undertaker and Kane. Rock versus Ken Shamrock. Mankind versus Al Snow. And, of course, Austin gets a bye to the semifinals. So we got 3 matches in the second round to look forward
Tell
to.
me what's happening here. I just got through telling you. We have 7 competitors still in the tournament. Austin has...
What's the best game of sports you've ever seen in person?
Austin has advanced, but is he going...
I've never seen a big game, like an important game in person or anything like that, but I really liked seeing when I went up to Jersey and I saw the Giants play the Redskins. It was a season closer, and neither team was making the playoffs, so it didn't matter, but it was week 17, and I got to see Justin Tuck make his last sack as a Giant, so that was cool to see. You've been had, you've been hoodwinked, led astray, and run amok. After Survivor Series 97, I feel fans weren't expecting another screw job, right? Well, not a legitimate one, I wouldn't think. It's like, how the hell? That'll never happen again. You know there will be no ref bumps or moments like that when Triple H or Undertaker used to shove the ref over. She's taken bumps before. I've seen footage of it. Not in AEW, but if they did something where, like, someone super kicked her, it would be like, oh my god. They probably don't want to do it too often because you can only shock people for so long. But Rock also beat Rowan in 4 seconds. That's true. Were you sick of seeing Undertaker versus Kane by this point? I was starting to get weary of it. I wasn't truly sick of it yet. The Redskins, never heard of them. No, I'm sorry. The Washington football team. The Washington football team. AJ, welcome to the stream. Have you seen the Brothers of Destruction documentary? I have not. I saw the Paul Bearer one and I really liked it, but I should check out that one too. I'm sure it's good. The Paul Bearer one I really liked. The Washington Redacted. Oh god, that's even better. I hope they changed it to that. Because Danny Snyder, the owner, he's talked about, like, dude, I want to keep the Washington football team. Which feels sarcastic. It feels like he's doing it just to be a salty prick. Yeah, I like this version of the Undertaker theme. The Rock theme, yeah, it's pretty cool. The Washington 404 error not found. Now, at this point, Paul Bearer had rejoined with The Undertaker at Judgment Day 98. And they were kind of building the foundation for what would become the Ministry of Darkness in 1999. We all got sick of Undertaker and Kane after their abysmal SummerSlam match back in 2000. Was that even a match? It wasn't even really a match because the bell never rang.
The younger brother of The Undertaker, the son of Paul Bearer.
The Washington Gibbs. That would actually be classy if they did that. Which is probably why they're not going to do it. Yeah, the weird, like, jacket that Taker used to wear, yeah, that looked pretty cool. Why'd they change their name? Because Redskins is viewed as racist.
The Undertaker turning their backs on this big red machine. He only knows destruction. He's able.
You need to check out the channel. Urinating Tree does hilarious NFL and other sports videos. I will check that out. That sounds great.
Champion, or is he just in here to try to destroy his brother?
Do you have any ideas for your next video in the What Went Wrong series? I don't have an idea yet.
But the Undertaker chose to wait.
No, I do not have an idea yet. When an idea comes to me, I'll make one. But for right now, there's none in the pipeline.
It won't be with 2 7-foot, 300-pound.
I like the version of his theme where it's just the organ playing theme, and guess I have a thing for organ pieces. Kane's first theme was great. I loved his first theme, and they kept remixing it and changing it, and for some reason that kind of diluted. Undertaker's theme seemed to get better the more they added to it. Kane's theme seemed to get worse the more they added to it. Big boot by Kane. And this was weird at this point because Kane was a face at this point, which was weird to see. After a year of him being like a mindless killer.
So many times with this amazing athlete. And they're right out here in front of us now. Two huge behemoths. And that tree-like forearm of Kane. Oh, clubbing his brother right in the back. You know, when McMahon made
The Edmonton Eskimos are also changing their name. The Washington John Cena's.
in this quarterfinal matchup. Hoping, I think, that they would destroy each other. On the
Oh yeah, that's how he got the name Sharpshooter, because he was the hitman. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. What went wrong? Midgets in wrestling. Oh boy, that's I don't know if I want to tackle that. Is 97-98 Kane the scariest wrestler ever? He's up there.
Kane was a champion and the king of the
Ooh, into the steel steps.
blood match.
He's up there.
Yes, we must say that. Against the Rattlesnake. Well, I'll tell you what, if either one of these men, this match is too close to predict.
The Slow Chemical. It was a good song. It felt wrong for Kane to have a song. Like, I like the basic simplicity of the first theme.
The next champion right here in this matchup.
I'm going to have to say that if the Undertaker advances, I think...
No, the early days of Kane unmasking actually started off really well, and then they just kind of dropped a lot of it for some reason. I liked his entrance with the cops and the entourage, like having to uncuff him and the towel over his head. That actually looked pretty cool, but they only did it like once or twice.
I believe I'd pass. I wouldn't mind fishing that Sable Jacqueline match a little bit later. They didn't call my name, so...
Actually, that's a question. I was thinking about, like, they mentioned Sable and Jacqueline, and I was thinking, if I watched Fully Loaded 2000, or I'm sorry, Fully Loaded 98, and I watched the bikini contest, is that censored? Oh, missed the elbow because Taker sat up. He almost came down on Taker's head, by the way. They timed that about as well as you can time it without anybody getting hurt. But that's curious. Maybe I should check out Fully Loaded 98 after this and see if I can still see Jacqueline's tits. She had a pop out.
The Undertaker going downstairs, trying to perhaps damage Kane's knee. No.
Oh yeah, when you were born and how old you are, it always impacts how you feel about things.
And now the Undertaker.
And Saturday Night Live kind of works the same way for a lot of people, where my parents said, like, the best days of SNL are like the early days, but my generation, we look to like the early 90s as like our favorite period of SNL. Although we all agree modern SNL is garbage and we hate it, but maybe the young people today like the current SNL, I don't know.
And Kane ripped off the cage door. Remember that, King? He ripped that steel door right off its hinges.
Oh yeah, I remember it. He can be destructive, all right. What about just last week when he piled up all the members of the Brood and was going to have a Brood bonfire?
Thank goodness that did not transpire, but the intent obviously was there.
There's no telling what can still happen in this match. I mean, Kane, in that warped mind of his, he could have some kind of plan here. He could have something in store for the Undertaker and for Paul Bearer.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's just weird seeing Kane as the face in an Undertaker-Kane match. It's like, I'm not used to this.
In addition to working on that left knee.
The songs Rock performed during his Rock concert are cut on the network. God damn it. Do young people today even know what SNL is? That's a great question. Like, who watches SNL anymore?
Kane ran face first into the top turnbuckle. As we said, nothing pretty or scientific about this contest.
He also tombstone Linda McMahon. I remember that.
Two big bulls. Seeing who's going to blink first.
And you know, JR, you just got to know that Paul Bearer has something up his sleeve. He's not going to come out here just to watch this match.
Undertaker is hitting Kane with just about every
Kane's no selling now.
Phenom has, and Kane keeps coming back for more. Kane is still standing upright somehow, some way. He has no
Yeah, I hate that, where people that don't watch it get to influence how it, because the UFC kind of ran into this problem, or like mixed martial arts companies, where they have the ring girls that bring out the signs and they're wearing the bikinis and everything, and people who don't watch mixed martial arts hate that they have that. I'm like, well, you don't watch it, so who cares what you think? And people were considering like caving to them, and it's like, why do people that don't like it, don't watch it, get to dictate how I enjoy something? It just pisses me off. Up, Kane's going up top. Flying clothesline. Oh, yeah. I haven't watched SNL since, like, early 2000s at least.
Kane going for the cover. And Undertaker got a shoulder up. A 2 count. Kane thought he should have had...
Yeah, initial Unmasked Kane, there was some good stuff there, and then they just kind of, like so many other things, they just kind of dropped the ball with it.
The Undertaker in a very...
I remember when Kane chokeslammed The Undertaker into his mother's casket. That was a thing they did on TV, which I was like, you want to talk about my jaw fucking dropped when I saw that? That was something where my jaw fucking dropped. It has to be a copyright issue. There's no other reason I could think. Chokeslam on The Undertaker.
Big time chokeslam by Kane.
Look at Paul Bearer. I told you.
Oh, there's Paul. Uncle Paul. I'm surprised the Blackhawks haven't changed their name yet. Oh, the distraction by Paul. Here's the tombstone. Oh, that's a nice touch. Okay, so Taker beat Kane with 1 tombstone, which goes against the previous matches they had, where at WrestleMania 14 it took 3 tombstones to beat him. But Undertaker pinned him by hooking the leg, and Paul Bearer did a Bobby Heenan and held Kane's other leg down. So I was like, okay, so they kind of got around not doing the 3 tombstones. That's a nice touch. I like that. Guess what? I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
Just blasted the referee. But he's been blasted right out of this tournament by The Undertaker.
NASCAR ended. The grid girls and feminists were celebrating until the actual grid girls responded saying, thanks to you, we're out of a fucking job. Yeah, I know. It's like, yeah, we're going to help women by taking jobs away from women. It's like, can we have some free choice here? It's like they chose those jobs. They understand those jobs. They presumably, most of them enjoy doing those jobs. Let them do those jobs. You fucking, like... Oh, God. I sound like a goddamn libertarian right now, but it's just stuff like that just pisses me off. We did good today, people. You made a sport less fun to watch, and you put women out of work. Great job, assholes.
Well, mankind.
I've heard of that book. I remember that book when it came out, the Kane book. I never read it. I kind of wanted to read it just to, like, get the full fucking timeline on all the events of Kane's history. I bet it's fascinating.
Exactly a household name. I know you could have been in...
What do you think of the New York Giants not having cheerleaders? It always disappointed me. I was like, man, why don't we have cheerleaders? Like, come on. Nothing gets me more excited than a woman that wears my team colors. I mean, whole group of women wearing my team colors? Oh, my God. Don't even. Yeah, I like hot women. Go figure. I'm a pig. Sue me. Watch, that'll be what gets me dropped from YouTube. They'll drop the live stream. Oh my God, he's talking about sexually objectifying women. Oh my God. He needs to be stopped. He needs to be stopped. Patrick 2024. I'll run for president. Yeah, that'll work. Oh, God, yeah, it shocked me, too. When Kane kicked out of the tombstone, it totally shocked me at WrestleMania 14. As a member of the progressive left, I can say I'm sorry for the small minority of us that are obnoxious bitches. I appreciate that. I really do. And here we go. It's Mankind versus Al Snow. The battle of the friends, Al Snow and Mankind. Their playful banter against each other is somewhat legendary. Kane's character makes no sense. First he wanted to destroy Taker, but then he becomes a full-time wrestler. Well, the allure of becoming the champion made him want to stay. It's okay, my Bills don't have cheerleaders anymore either. Ugh.
Mr. McMahon had initiated a
Emily Pankhurst didn't get hit by a horse and dying for feminists to put other women out of a job. That's a pretty good line.
And it looks like Mankind is we're in trouble now. Got that chair.
Redskins, here's the thing. Redskins said the exact same thing, and it didn't do any good. Eventually, they caved, so the Blackhawks, me thinks that's going to change. Oh, swing of the chair and miss. Would have been disqualified if he'd hit him.
Obligatory remark there, but wow.
I'd become a U.S. citizen to vote for you. Oh, my God, the start of my campaign. This is my walking down the escalator moment.
He is unpredictable as Al Snow. Watch it.
Oh.
Well, he got him some momentum and paid for it.
Oh, face plant on the chair.
Al Snow dropped face first on that steel fold.
Get him in the ring, ref.
Well, it looks as if, I don't want to be too Oliver Stone-like here, but...
Exactly, yeah. Redskins said the exact same thing. It didn't matter.
Mr. McMahon's chosen one.
New York Giants don't even have fans. The state of New York would like to disagree with you. Also, the state of New Jersey would like to disagree with that assessment. Not enough people care about hockey. Ooh, Nick, that's a mean shot. That's a mean shot. Oh, see here, Vince was the one. He orchestrated it to where they stole Mr. Sacco and put it on the head to motivate Mick even further to beat up Al Snow.
Mick's no more than a pawn in this title conspiracy.
Young Hollywood, why did Kane only win the strap for a day? That was the nature of the time period. Like, they put the title on him to shock people and get them to tune into Raw the next night, and then they did the big title match, Austin won it back for, like, a ratings push. That's why.
Got out of the way of that headshot.
Oh, missed the headshot. See, Al Snow's trying to get disqualified. Oh, he found Mr. Sacco. Foley's not happy. Listen to the crowd pop for Sacco. And he's attacking the head. That's gold. That's gold. Clothesline by Al.
Calling Dr. Howard, Dr. Fine, Dr. Howard. What is going on here?
I don't know, but he's hanging on to Mr. Sacco for dear life.
What? Oh, big clothesline by Mick.
Now offensively, after realizing that the tube sock was around the mannequin.
He's still holding on to Sacco while he's throwing punches. Oh, nice spine buster. No, kick out by Foley. It's hard to tell with the mask on, but Foley also shaved as part of this like corporate image gimmick.
McMahon said, if you want to be somebody, Mick, you gotta work on your appearance.
Double arm DDT. I think Taker Austin for SummerSlam was the bigger main event, and that's clearly where they wanted to go. Mr. Sacco, here we go.
There's no telling where that sock has been in the last few days.
Oh, right in the gullet. Mandible claw with the sock. Al Snow's trying to break it, but he can't. It's over. It's over. Foley wins it. I thought Mick was going to go for an Insagura. If Mick Foley had thrown an Insagura, I would have shit my pants. Mick Foley, arguably the funniest wrestler of all time. I think that's a fair statement. He could be downright hilarious.
Tell you what, Maestro McMahon's finest symphony may well be in place for Mankind to wear the title before
New York teams are so bad. You have to cheer for a team from New Jersey. That segment was great. Eli, Brandon, Plaxico. They sound more like hairdressers than athletes to me. The Austin Taker 99 angle, the like fully loaded 99 and the greater power and all that stuff. Yeah, they did some good stuff. clean-shaven Foley would not look right. No, it wouldn't. No, it would not look right. I would be like, if Mick Foley like actually like shaved himself and came out on wrestling TV again, I'd be like, who is this man? I don't know who this is. See, again, he's wearing the mask, so you can't really tell unless you're looking super closely. All right, we've almost got our final four. Rock and Shamrock decides the final spot in the final four. What is this horrific music? It is Mankind's exit theme, which he had for over 2 years of the character's existence. Almost like 2.5. Foley is a smart man in that regard. It's like, dude, it's not the moves you do, it's how you connect with the audience and finding your niche. Austin was a scientific wrestler. Like, he was about as good a scientific wrestler as anybody. But he made his most money as the top guy who brawled all the time and cursed people out and flipped the middle finger. So, you know. Oh, the sleek aerodynamic haircut. That did not look right. I agree. That didn't look right.
Utilizing his dreaded ankle lock submission on the dust. It can come king at any time from virtually any position on any athlete.
And when he gets it on you, you're history. Look at him. And in his zone, he's ready to knuckle up with the Rock.
Shamrock, no doubt, tournament tested.
Here we go. Ken Shamrock again. There's Kyoto. There's Finkel.
He is a dominating
Nice familiar faces.
This is going to be a classic matchup. Two men that have a history with each other.
I see a sign in there that says Beaver Rules. Are they talking about Beaver Cleavage? Had that character shown up yet? And it's like, wow, I didn't know Beaver Cleavage had a fan. I remember seeing an old Foley promo from ECW where he was clean shaven. It was the weirdest thing. I need to go back and look at that. I don't remember ever seeing that. Austin also had to brawl more after his neck injury. Yes, he did. Well, a lot of the main events in the Attitude Era are these wild, all over the arena type of brawls. And I think a lot of that was done to protect Austin's neck. Jumping off a cell is smart? No. He's selectively intelligent.
These men they were in the ring together at last year's Survivor Series. Shamrock was
Yeah, it's weird how Rock has this mystique about him where he's like, maybe it's the action star thing in the movies, but as a wrestler, he wasn't like a mega tough guy. He wasn't. I'm aware of the other meaning for Beaver, yes. I'm fully aware of it. Beaver Cleavage was a character that lasted all of maybe 2 weeks. Well, they did a lot of vignette packages, but it was a character played by Headbanger Mosh. And he was basically a parody of Leave It to Beaver, the TV show, where he had like an incestuous relationship with his mother. It was very weird. That was not one of Russo's better ideas. Yeah, that TNA promo was very good, but Foley like cut so many good promos that it's hard to name just one that I really liked. The interviews with JR, those were really good. With the sit-down interview with JR, those segments were awesome. I also really liked the one where he came back in 2003 and he was going to referee the Hell in a Cell match with Triple H and Nash. And Triple H said, I can't let that asshole referee the match, so he beat up Foley. And Foley kept counting 3 anyway, just to fuck with him. And Triple H would come down and beat him up more. And there was one line from Foley where it was like, I've got a lot more ass to kick, pal, or something like that. I'm like, that's the Foley I love.
This calendar year from
people in the WWE at the time admitted main event style came around to work around Austin's limits. Yep, I'm absolutely sure that's true. Beaver also led to an awful domestic violence story. Ugh, yeah. Yep, I remember that. Show us your beaver, Patrick. No, thank you. No. Because I'm trying not to get kicked off the stream on purpose. Oh, big clothesline by The Rock.
I hear people here saying Shamrock sucks. It hadn't been that long ago when the big chant was Rocky sucks. But now all of a sudden he raises that people's eyebrow, throws a people's elbow or two around. They love him. Look at him. Oh, my crown. Shamrock right here in front of us.
Good stuff.
What's he doing?
Another right hand. This thing is absolutely just
It's
Out of control. They
Oh my
got-
God. Oh, right into the steps.
No, you're rolling. Drink your soda.
Well, these young horses want to run here, but the thing about it is they don't want to be counted out.
2003 Kevin Nash. He's not the one-legged man. He's the no-legged man. Ooh.
The benefit of the doubt here.
I remember how just not over Nash was in 03 in the W. Like, he was just he was there and no one gave a shit. Like, he was so not over, it was like, it was remarkable how not over he was.
Both these guys got pit bulls.
You drink liquor? Yes, I do drink liquor.
Listen to this impact right here.
King just gave another hint. Yeah, paying attention. Paying attention. We're about to see the finish of this match is a big hint of what's about to happen.
The Rock. So excited about this opportunity. I know he flew his mom and dad in from Florida.
Now this is going by fast. We're already almost through the second round and like at the halfway point of the show.
We'll have plenty to say about that before this night is over. Yeah.
It made 1995 Nash feel like Hogan. It kind of did, to be honest.
Shamrock going back to the Russian leg sweep. He hits it again. Quickly for the cover.
Nash, you know, he was great in WCW as far as like a character that was interesting. He was great in WCW, and then in TNA he had his moments. I loved his stuff with Alex Shelley. So it's like, it's not that he couldn't do anything. It's just, I think maybe in that environment he just couldn't. He couldn't be himself, so maybe he just couldn't connect. And I'm sure his age and the injuries didn't help. Ooh! Big knee lift by Shamrock.
Shamrock.
I know it's early, but Roman's heel turn run better than Rock's
The neck there of the Rock.
Die Rocky Die heel turn. I'd say that's probably too soon to tell. I said I was going to watch SmackDown, and I have not watched any of it, because the build-up to Survivor Series just has not intrigued me at all.
Somewhat quiet on the Steve Austin front. Wait a minute. Here comes the big boss man.
I remember not hating that match. The Nash and Triple H Hell in a Cell. Oh, here comes the boss man.
You gotta believe
Here we go.
boss man back out here.
But the Nash and Triple H Hell in a Cell match got a lot of bad press at the time. I don't remember it being that bad. Like, I remember thinking it was at least okay. But again, I haven't seen it since then, so I couldn't say. I would reenact Rock's sell of the Stone Cold Stunner on a trampoline. Yeah, he would like almost do a backflip out of the stunner. It was crazy.
Like these people anymore. And The Rock's the people's champion.
What matches make me feel uncomfortable? Anytime there's like a big injury, like a really big one, that kind of makes me feel uncomfortable. Whenever there's a scaffold match and people are in danger and it feels like something could go horribly wrong, that makes me feel uncomfortable.
That chin lock really wrenched in.
Boss Man better have gotten a good payday from the show, as he's in almost every set. It feels like it. It's like this is Boss Man's day in the sun. He's all over the show.
You know, sometimes these people even call Mr.
Sadly for Nash, the best part of his WWE return was the setup of HBK's return. Yep.
You know what they call
Yep.
it? You wouldn't like it.
Although Shawn Michaels was in the NWO and nobody remembers it, which I think is hilarious.
Fights back with the right hand. And Shamrock. Oh, yes! Hurricane
See, that Hurricane Rana looked better.
Shamrock now looking for the ankle.
Armbar into the ankle lock.
Shamrock with the ankle on the Rock. Shamrock with the ankle on.
When Boss Man is not on screen, have everyone ask where is Boss Man.
Virtually no hope in surviving this deadly game.
They have beaten the Tribal Chief line. The pay-per-view match with Jey Uso, they beat that phrase it to death. Like, WWE does not know how to do anything subtly. They've gotta overstate it and pound it into your goddamn skull until you're sick of hearing it. It's the only way they know how to do things
Nice to
anymore.
be 6'5" and have that reach of the Rock.
Oh, double clothesline. They're both down.
Colliding here.
Rock and Shamrock always had good matches. This is probably their weakest, quote-unquote, match, but they typically did some really good work with each other. I really like their match at the Royal Rumble in '98.
Saw that Monday night on Raw.
Rock was so good at screaming in agony. Well, that's where his acting chops came from.
Walk around the ring with a nightstick.
Well, I think right now the big boss man would rather
Twisted ankle, man, like it's that Joe Theismann thing where it's like, dude, it just looks so nasty. That four-way with ladies from Mexico where Sexy Star tried to break Rosemary's arm should make anyone uncomfortable. That was one of the weirdest things I've ever watched. The match itself is terrible. Like, honest to God, one of the top 10 worst matches I've ever seen from a working standpoint because it was clear that nobody was cooperating. DDT! Nobody was cooperating. And then you get that finish with Rosemary, and it's like, ooh, God. Low blow, another low blow, but the ref had his back turned on this one. The Hell in a Cell. Yeah, I remember Shane and Owens, their match. I was like really uncomfortable when they were on top because the roof of the cell did not look that steady. Oh no! Shamrock kicked out of the People's Elbow. Sexy Star episode of Dark Side of the Ring. I don't think you can. Can you do a whole episode about that? I loved their match at WrestleMania. Not for the match, but all the stuff surrounding it I thought was great. Rock bottom, Shamrock fights out of it. Belly to belly. Rock ate a lot of those while working with Shamrock. Another hint, yep. Notice Survivor Series is where all the heels win. It kind of has that pattern if you go back. Like, Andre, Taker. Oh, the nightstick! Bossman was throwing it to Shamrock, but really, we're going to find out later. 1, 2, 3. Rock gets the win. Did Bossman screw up? Or is there something afoot? Is something afoot? But yeah, Survivor Series, you know, Rock, Taker, Andre. It certainly feels that way that a lot of heels tend to go over at Survivor Series. Then you get the whole situation in '97. I was worried for Shane because he gasses just talking these days. It feels that. Yeah, Shane looks so out of breath most of the time. Back in the day when the People's Elbow was a taunt move and not a finisher, that looks stupid. Here's the thing. I bought it as a finisher because it was like, all right, he would follow. The precursor would be the Rock Bottom or the Spine Buster. I was like, look, the Rock Bottom and the Spine Buster are so powerful that it keeps them down for the People's Elbow. In my head canon, that was how I reasoned that. Now he timed that perfectly, that catch of the nightstick. Sid won in '96. Well, he turned heel at that show, which is funny because most of the crowd hated Shawn in New York. That was one of the instances where the crowd turned on Shawn. But yeah, Sid won. Big Show. Big Show was a face in '99 when he won. I think, did he turn face like that night?
Undertaker gets the People's Champion, The Rock.
Oh, against Brock. Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right.
Undertaker likes is a nice piece of cold, hard granite that he carves.
Let's listen to Paul Bearer. It's always gold.
Tonight, my phenom will walk out of this building as the WWF champion.
His facial expressions are so great. Here we go, the women's title match. I remember this match being awful. I remember watching it the night of and thinking, man, this match was terrible. She's so hot. Sable was so hot back then. It's again, I know it's surgical, I know it's like, mostly enhanced, but goddamn, she looked good. People's Elbow is basically rubbing salt in the wound. Yeah, exactly.
Remember, it's a couple of months ago when Sable and Jacqueline met for the women's title.
Sid had his moments. Like, Sid, I get it. I mean, when you look at somebody with that look and that size and his athletic ability, it's easy to see why he got pushed. But yeah, not the best worker on the planet. Jacqueline beat Sable to win the newly reactivated women's title. First women's champion after Alundra Blaze through the... Oh, there's Shane McMahon. Yeah, there's Shane McMahon as referee. He was demoted to referee after he helped rehire Stone Cold Steve Austin after Judgment Day. But we're going to see Shane later in the night. The women's and tag title matches should have been moved to Heat. It's probably, but Sable was such an attraction. It's hard to, like, people would pay money to see Sable, so it's like, might as well put her on the main card. How many times have you skunked to this match? What the fuck? What, jerked off to this match specifically? None. I've never heard the term skunked to illustrate jerking off. I assume that's what you mean. I agree with that. Yes, Rock was like the Macho Man. Austin was the Hogan. I think that's a very, like, fair comparison. Especially in... I think Rock really elevated himself in 2000 when Austin was on the shelf. But for a while, it was like Rock was like the Macho Man. And which is not a bad spot to be in at all, but you're just not as big as the top guy. At least at that point in time. I love Scott Steiner. I could watch Scott Steiner make pancakes in the morning. I love that guy. Finkel, best ring announcer in the game. He was the best ring announcer in the history of wrestling. Wasn't Shane a ref in the late 80s, early 90s? I believe so. I know he was like one of the officials that would come out whenever like a fracas would start, he would be one of the suits. TKO by Sable. Mark Merrow pulls her off. Sable in the potato sack was one of the highest rated segments in Raw history at the time. Low blow on Mark Merrow. He kept letting Sable beat him up. And it's like, dude, it did so much damage to you. Sable bomb on the outside. She looked like she was not going to get him up. Should put the Hall of Fame on the moon. I love Scott so much. Just don't let Scott Steiner teach you math, or let him teach you all the math. Well, for personal preference, I liked Macho Man more than Hogan, but it's like, if we're talking star power, like Austin was the bigger star at this point. Shane Stevens, when he was a referee back in the day. Okay. The math promo is a legendary promo. It's one of my favorites. I feel like the Sable Bomb to Marrow should have led to the finish. Like, that felt like the emotional climax. They climaxed a little too early, shall we say. You know, everybody talks about how hot Sable is. Jackie is a looker, too. She could get it. She could, you know. She was well built, shall we say. She looked great in that red swimsuit at Fully Loaded 98. I would let Scott Steiner teach me how to cook eggs. Like, he's... Why am I associating Scott Steiner with breakfast? Maybe it's the Waffle House stories from Petey Williams. I don't know. Or was it... No, it was Cracker Barrel. Counter!
Sable is still hurting. Jacqueline is relentless. And now Jacqueline, she likes to use the Tornado DDT in this spot.
Tornado DDT! Sable blocked it!
Sable countered the Tornado DDT.
Oh, now Sable's got her. Sable bomb. Boom! There we go. New women's champ. Got her. You know, that match wasn't as bad as I remembered it. I remembered it being a train wreck. It was quick, simple, get Sable over, like... I remembered that match being much worse than it is. I was at the Raw where Sable wore the potato sack, one and only time Raw ever came to the state of Maine. How old were you when the potato sack came off? Because that's like... You know, goddamn, if you're like a teenager at that point, that must have been like... You must have been feeling all sorts of things. What were Hogan's best WCW matches? The match with Goldberg deserves a lot of credit for how big it was. I really like the Bash of the Beach match, Luger and Giant versus Hogan and Rodman. I like the match in WCW where him and DDP destroyed the Nitro set. And it basically set up WCW to get the Hood Ornament theme. Hood Ornament logo. But some other ones. His Bash at the Beach match with Flair was good. After that, it runs a little thin. I think the match with Luger on the 100th Nitro deserves some credit for how big it was. And I really liked his match with Billy Kidman. I think it was at Slamboree 2000. They had a really good match.
Well, Mankind started the night off with a gimmick.
And
McMahon
no!
put perennial preliminary wrestler Dwayne Gill in the matchup. And Mankind
Yeah, he's fat!
won that one without even breaking a sweat. And then after he discovered Mr. Socko, Mankind turned it up a notch and defeated Al Snow with the mandible claw. That's right.
How awkward those segments were for her daughter. I mean, I don't know. You'd have to ask her, I guess.
It's obvious.
I mean, a lot of porn stars have kids. How do you think those kids feel? It's like, oh my god, my friends can literally go on the computer and look at my mom doing train on like 17 guys. Here we go, Austin versus Foley. Semifinals. This is where things really start to heat up. It was the peak of Luger's career when he beat Hogan for the belt that night. Why did Taker turn heel in '98? Well, supposedly he's the one that set the fire that almost killed Kane. Like, he admitted to it. So they were getting ready to do the Ministry of Darkness. I think they were laying the seeds for that. But that was really funny. It's like, wait, did Taker just confess to murder? So wait, he killed his parents? What? Alrighty, here we go. Austin and Mick. Oh, he ripped the jacket off of Mick. Now he's ripping his shoes off. This isn't a tuxedo match, Austin. Oh yeah, Steiner. Steiner was great. I love Steiner. Whenever he would just rant and rave about anyone, it was always gold.
Wait a minute, we heard these boos. We cannot see from our vantage point what the...
It's crazy to see the overbooking during these times. There was a lot of just throwing shit to kind of like... but they did it well back then. I don't know, like... Sometimes it would go too far. I remember that Rock Jericho match at the Royal Rumble where it was like outside interference, a low blow, a chair shot, and all this other stuff just to beat Rock. And that felt like too much to me. Taker killed his parents to prove Kane was weak. I mean, that's a good way to make a point. It's like, yeah, I set that fire to kill my parents and prove you were weak. Austin don't like corporate bullshit. Well, rattlesnakes don't make good corporate house pets. I don't know if you know that. Another classic JR line.
The winner advances to the finals of the Deadly Game tournament.
Cause it's a deadly game. Running knee by Mick.
The 300-pounder with a head of steam catching Austin right in the face.
And we've been, well, at least on this side of the ring, right in front of us here is...
Wait, Taker killed his parents? Apparently, he confessed to setting the fire, so apparently he killed his parents. It was the night after Judgment Day. The same episode where Austin invaded the building and held Vince McMahon by gunpoint. It was a much different time. Luthez press. Oh, they didn't censor those middle fingers. I noticed that. Kickstarter? No. Foley gets out of there. Where is Foley going? He just ran away. He just ran up the aisleway.
Get back here! Come on! After everything that Mr. McMahon's done for you, practically taking you in as his own son.
There's a 30-minute video on here of Steiner being uncensored and unscripted in promos. Genuinely a top 10 video ever on this platform. I'm sure. I've probably seen it in the past, to be honest. Paul Bearer actually set the fire in the book. Okay, that doesn't make any sense, but sure. Uh-oh! Pile driver on the concrete. No, 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 no! Backdrop. Oh! It'll give your spine a readjustment. Undertaker stole the setup from Michael Myers. Of course he did. That's obviously where it came from.
And Lord knows that should be everybody's goal.
Uh-oh, watch it.
Into the step. I've seen so many step shots tonight
Those steel steps.
in this show. It's like, God, the steel steps were working overtime. Almost as overtime as the Big Boss Man was.
I mean, he's sitting right out near that unwashed puddle. Now, how gracious is that of Mr. McMahon to let those people be that close to him? I mean, that's like meeting God without having...
Vince is out there.
McMahon is telling her
When was the last time Vince was at ringside for a Survivor Series prior to this? It only happened one other time. When was it?
Mankind right up there to get Austin, and that may have upset McMahon.
We've got Mankind and Goldust sitting in the front row. A couple of fans doing cosplaying before I even knew what that term was.
The referee's out there too. Of course it will. Oh man, Mankind knocked right over the rail.
One of Steiner's best promos was in 2000 when he said he was sitting at home watching WWF because WCW sucks. Led to a legit suspension. Again, you can't tell Scott Steiner what to do.
Not going to leave anything out. Not going to have anything left when this one's over. And
You know, like, it's one of those things where it's like Owen Hart would have had, they talked about it in Dark Side of the Ring, but Owen Hart would have had like an influx of fresh opponents to kind of like give him like really good matches to have, like Benoit and Eddie and those type of guys. And Pillman, if he was healthy and cutting those loose cannon promos, like an Austin Pillman program for the main event would have been stellar, I think. Yeah, I mean, I would imagine the book isn't very good. I would imagine. Austin stole his character from a serial killer. I remember hearing that. I don't remember which one, but except all those years he was doing commentary at Survivor Series. Good point. Good point.
No, I think this hatred that McMahon feels for Austin has I mean, it's got Mr. McMahon so pumped up, he's fired up all the
How wasn't Austin put in jail for holding Vince at gunpoint, even if it wasn't a real gun? It wasn't a real gun! And it's like, look, he wasn't really in danger, which I don't think that would hold up in a court of law at all. I think any judge and jury would be like, yeah, but you could have easily, like, hurt him severely. Because he was completely at your mercy, and you clearly intended harm.
Tuxedo. Austin now beating Mankind to the punch with right hand. Oh, no.
Clothesline. Double clothesline!
Both men down. The double clothesline sent both these competitors down.
They're both down, by God! Double clothesline. That'll give you an attitude adjustment. Completely change the complexion of this match, by God.
Get up, Mick!
Obviously, McMahon has a lot riding on Mankind.
I liked Austin Dude Love. I liked the little angle they had post WrestleMania 14. That over the edge match was insane. I personally would put the Zamboni over the beer truck. Yes.
Stone Cold Steve Austin be too much for Mankind.
Yeah, no, I personally enjoyed the Zamboni segment more than the beer truck segment. The beer truck was a great visual, but the Zamboni, like the build up to it and the crowd reaction, the payoff, all of that was just amazing. How wasn't Austin put in prison for dropping Triple H 20 feet in the air whilst in a car? Why wasn't Austin arrested for attempted murder? I don't know. And how did Triple H come back 8 days later without a scratch on him? I don't know. Oh! Great leg strength by Foley. Just pulled Austin right into the ring post.
Big bite out of the steel ring post. And now the rattlesnake is down again.
Timestamp. We are at 1:40:17.
Maybe Mr. McMahon could run over him in that motorized wheelchair.
Almost a little over an hour left.
This is the deadliest of games.
There were a lot of great quotes during the Zamboni segment. The best one, of course, is, "I ain't through with you, Vince. I ain't through with you, not yet by a long shot."
His quest to be the corporate champion.
Since when? Yeah, that was great. JR sold that like a motherfucker. Now they're using a chair. Austin kicks it in his face. Oh, he missed. Oh, he landed on the chair. What a mishap.
I think it's more than the title for Mankind.
Oh!
He wants to win.
Yeah, it ain't easy to use all those vehicles. DDT on the chair. That should have been a DQ. But I think the referee is acting under Vince's orders. Did Vince stand up in the wheelchair?
Mankind. wants to use, Mankind wants to use that chair again, and quite frankly,
Yeah, the corporate champ phase, that was Rock's ascension to the main event star. Pile driver on the chair.
that would do it to anybody.
Backdrop. Foley goes on the chair. Putting cement. He poured cement into the car. Stunner!
That's it. The Stone Cold Stunner strikes.
1, 2. Vince McMahon pulls the referee out.
McMahon came out of his wheelchair.
He's not limping.
He's heels out.
Oh, Kyoto goes down.
McMahon just hit the referee.
Yeah, Vince looks fine to me.
What the hell is going on? Austin has this match won.
What a twist.
Austin's got this match won, damn it. McMahon just... Mankind's about out of his pants.
Mankind's falling out of his pants. Mandible claw. Stunner! Here we go. This is the big moment. 1, 2. What? Shane won't count the 3.
Three. What? Where's 3? What?
Oh my God.
What the...
Well, guess what? Shane's gonna die now.
Shane McMahon should have... He didn't count down Austin.
The plot definitely thickens. It's a miracle. Vince can stand. Well, this Mania didn't feel like a big deal because of COVID, but
Well, there's a referee. Austin in the match won twice.
thank God Foley was wearing his tights underneath the suit pants.
Tell Austin.
Oh!
Clothesline by Mankind. Wait a minute.
And now the Stooges are getting involved. Oh, chair shot by Jerry. Not the best chair shot in the planet, but
Mankind. I don't know. Mankind even saw what happened.
now Shane counts the 3 against Austin. 7-year-old me was so fucking pissed when Shane flipped off. My jaw dropped. I remember when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, what's going on here? And I knew like a greater conspiracy was at play, but I'll be honest, I thought the ending to this pay-per-view, I thought it was going to be like the Attitude Era's version of WrestleMania 4. I thought Rock was going to win because Austin was going to help him a la how Hogan helped Savage at WrestleMania 4. That is not what happened. The Boy Wonder has turned evil.
Can you believe it?
Is it weird that I like the milk truck with Angle more than the beer truck with Austin?
Austin had this match won.
That is a great... I always appreciate a reference to Dr. Strangelove, Hogan. I appreciate that.
Well, they know what's good for them.
Foley beat Austin a lot. Did he? How many times did he beat him? There was this one. He beat him at SummerSlam 99. I remember that.
I think you're right.
My brother got so mad he started to cry. Jesus.
Austin
Still real to me, damn it. No, but I remember watching this and my jaw fucking dropped. I was like, what just happened?
McMahon's limo,
And of course the McMahons are getting out of here like scalded dogs.
like nothing more than robbers.
And now Austin is going to commit Grand Theft Auto.
Austin's commandeering that.
Commandeering, that's the word that JR is going to use. No, he's straight up stealing someone else's car.
Austin is chasing the McMahons out of here.
Oh my God. To hunt down and do bodily harm to other people.
Hell, I don't believe what we just. This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. Shane McMahon signs Austin to a 5-year contract in the WWF.
I wish they brought more automobiles to the ring.
Mankind shoulders down.
He did, you're right. He did win it on, I forgot about that. Yes, he did win that match by DQ.
I saw it. So what?
That one slipped my mind.
Been duped? Is that what we're saying here? That Shane McMahon and his daddy sucked in Austin, and everybody else, including me, you, everybody here.
Oh my God.
Everybody got screwed by the McMahon family. Is that what we're saying?
How smart, how brilliant is Vince McMahon?
And now there's this issue where it's like, well, Shane helped Austin get rehired after Judgment Day, so what's the deal there? Austin got rehired, storyline-wise, with a contract. Well, number one, it keeps Austin from going to WCW. That's number one. But it put Austin under a more restrictive contract where he was not allowed to attack Vince. So it was like, so Vince could now have his cake and eat it too, where he could keep Austin, who's a draw, but also screw with him in any which way he sees fit.
Shane McMahon shooting a finger right in Austin's face and laughing about it. Uh-oh.
Yeah, you'd think Austin would have just been in jail.
Out of the tournament.
Just constantly.
Has advanced, and we'll meet the winner of our next
Yeah, that was the end. Which, Joe, what you're describing there, that was the ending to Judgment Day. The month before, actually. And yeah, that was a great ending. I remember one of the more memorable pay-per-view endings.
Or somewhere on I-70.
Here we go. Undertaker versus The Rock on pay-per-view. It didn't happen often on pay-per-view, but when it did, it felt like kind of a big deal. They also worked King of the Ring 99, and I think they worked No Way Out 2002, if I'm not mistaken. And they had a few other like multi-man matches as well, but singles matches, I think those are their only ones.
Is a semi-final match in the WWF Championship Tournament with the winner to meet Mankind in the final round. Introducing first, to be accompanied by Paul Bearer, the Undertaker.
Now, unfortunately, in the master plan here, like Vince and the McMahon, they scurried out of here like thieves in the night. So it kind of left Rock and their designs for the main event kind of up to chance. Fortunately, Kane was able to help him out a little bit.
Giving the Undertaker the opportunity to knock Kane with the tombstone
Boom.
title run. And that's how the Undertaker advanced over his own flesh and blood Kane.
And that's when I dubbed The Undertaker my new pick to be the next WWF champion. But you can quote me as saying that I was misquoted. I meant to say Mankind is going to be the next WWF champion. He's my pick.
Did you ever think that an Indian would be a WWE champion before a black person? Well, technically, isn't Rock black? Like, what, like, how, like...
I don't think the Undertaker would make a very corporate-like champion.
He did go to jail for trying... How many times did Austin go to jail during this time? Tried to murder Rikishi. In a no-holds-barred match, by the way, so... Apparently there is a limit in a no-holds-barred match.
His opponent,
There he is.
Well, this is another man that Mr. McMahon did not want to see in the...
Tell you what, Ahmed Johnson, it was clear as day that Vince had a hard-on for the guy, so it's like he was a guy that I thought he was going to be like the new Ultimate Warrior. I was like, okay, that's going to be the guy that's going to get the christened one, and then for whatever reason it just didn't take off.
Former defensive end of the Miami Hurricane had good hands when he intercepted the boss man's baton intended for Shamrock earlier, King.
That is great timing on the catch there with the nightstick.
He intercepted it, then he threw a lateral back to the big boss man, but in the meantime, he took out Kid
Know your damn role.
to this match with The Undertaker.
And here we go. Oh. A Rock and The Undertaker. Who will... One of these two men...
How else would you explain Kane attacking Rock instead of Taker kayfabe? Well, the explanation is he was trying to get Taker DQ'd, so just to fuck with Taker. Any other reason? I mean, he's got no... I don't think him and Rock had, like, feuded all that much, but he does hold it. I think Rock, didn't he pin him leading into this pay-per-view at some point? So Kane's, like, got no love lost for Rock either.
He knows that he can deal with Mankind as the champion.
That's obvious.
And he's just counting on the fact that The Undertaker right here should be able to put The Rock away.
Mankind has been relegated to no more than the village idiot here
Oh,
at
come
the
on.
manipulations of Vince McMahon.
JR just called Mankind the village idiot. That's perfect.
The champion of the whole
Oh.
village, huh?
Rock taking a bite out of those ring steps from The Undertaker.
Taking a bite out of those rings. Oh, again with the ring steps. They're working overtime tonight.
And that's what happens with Mankind or Mick Foley. Look out here.
Here comes Rock.
With some big-time right hands on The Undertaker.
I heard that when Goldust gave Johnson CPR on Raw, he legit wanted to kill Dustin, non-storyline. I remember hearing that too.
Into the dashers and then retaliates with a
Congrats to The Rock for getting jabroni an official word in the dictionary.
knocked down.
Where does that word even come from? Because I remember hearing it before The Rock. But I never knew what it meant or what it was referencing to. And
Controversy either.
And he's out there yelling for these guys to get
you smoke New York weed? No, I've never smoked weed.
doing any good.
Never have.
They'll get in the ring when they want
Undertaker.
It was the Iron Sheik's word, though. Yeah, yeah.
Rock's got to use his quickness here and his youth.
I mean, Iron Sheik made it funnier, for sure.
There's a cover. And the Undertaker got another near fall here. Undertaker really keeping the pressure on the Rock. And
What kind of celebration do you think is going on in that limousine right now? You think they popped the cork?
Man, those ring steps are getting more action than in a stairs match.
Champagne's got to be flowing. It's got to be party time.
oh yeah, I'm sure it's very jubilant.
How is Rikishi not in jail for running Austin over with a car? Because Austin didn't press charges.
They got telephones.
He dropped the charge. They did explain that. Austin did not press charges.
I'm sure somebody will phone him with the results of this right here.
Was Iron Sheik the first one to say jabroni? Seriously?
In by the Rock.
He may have a satellite dish in there. He may be picking this up right now on
Okay, jabroni is another term for jobber guys used backstage. Rock just started using it in promos. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Necessary chances offensively here. Just continue to
Okay, okay.
and the impact on the Rock.
Didn't Muhammad Ali use it before anyone else, though? Probably.
Undertaker milking that count as long as he can.
Right. Smart move.
The referee got to 5, would have a disqualification. Consequently, Undertaker breaking at 4 in change.
The Undertaker realizes now.
No, I have.
to be the next champion.
Okay, never drank, never had sex. That's not entirely true.
Have had some bad.
And by not entirely, I mean not at all. I've drank plenty. I've had a couple of blackout nights to prove that.
Tied up and nowhere to go but to the hospital if the Undertaker has his way.
Rock is doing the Andre the Giant spot. He's tied up in the ropes.
Virtually helpless here, and the referee got to be intimidated by the Undertaker. Oh, look out.
Oh, up and over goes Taker.
All the way to the floor. And now watch yourself here. Out here. The Undertaker just face first into our table. Boom.
Yeah, both of these guys fighting outside. Do you realize?
Ooh, now they're fighting into the crowd.
Yeah, Mankind will be the champion.
Great call by JR. If both men get counted out, then Mankind will be the champion.
The people's champs out in the people.
Who's better, Rhino or Matt Morgan? Rhino. Or Matt Morgan's a weird case where he had all the tools, had the look, could talk, good athlete, great athlete. But for whatever reason, like, it just did, he couldn't put it all together, and I don't know what it was.
He'd be demanding that these two men be
Oh god, a promo battle between Scott Steiner and the Iron Sheik would be amazing. I agree. I had to rewatch Full Gear because I got so drunk and I didn't remember it. Don't you hate when that happens?
hard kick right to the ribs. Nothing fancy about that. How in the world can Shane McMahon ever look himself in the mirror again? After we
Ooh.
thought this kid had so much integrity, so much character.
Have you ever seen the mirrors in the McMahon house? Or the McMahon
Are his feet in or out of the ring? Well, they were in. It was the Andre the Giant, not the Adrian Adonis.
mirrors in the McMahon mansion?
Always got fired.
Or he's pointing outside. I don't remember. I don't know how to play the guitar. Yeah. There's Paul Bearer. He just hit Rock with his shoe.
Paul Bearer,
If the heel don't get you, the smell will.
Great line, JR.
Now Shane McMahon could
The heel don't get you, the smell will.
year deal.
Yeah, go ahead, say it.
Could be humiliating.
Who had the best tits in wrestling history? Oh, God, I don't know.
Show him courage and then do what he has done.
I couldn't even begin.
Meantime, though, oh, wow. He got busted down to being a lowly referee. And JR, oh, wow.
Kevin Nash told a story of when he took the piss out of Bill Watts. He did his Willem Dafoe moment by cheering on his knees and giving the finger to the sky. Do you know what film or show this is from?
Undertaker buried the knee.
I
Now right
don't
hand
know,
got the Rock right
actually.
at the temple. The ropes were those
Trish?
there holding the Rock up. That's
Trish had the best tits.
whip is reversed.
I mean, that's a fair answer.
Samoan
She had
drop
some nice ones
from
back
the
in the day.
Undertaker.
Again, fake is all get out, but still. You know, I'm not too picky about the real or
Referee's
fake
count
thing.
now.
Come on, Rock.
Wait a minute. Huh?
And here is the big boss man again.
He left.
Working overtime.
Boss man left in the limousine with a McMahon
Clark, welcome. Welcome aboard.
He did
How you doing tonight?
back. Hey, Rock, look.
I forgot Bossman was out there for this match.
Well, there ain't no way the Rock's gonna get by this. I mean,
Trish or Tori Wilson. Tori Wilson also quite good.
he's the baddest arm breaker.
DDT.
Man,
Did he just call Paul Bearer a big fat piece of shit?
Choice words for
And another low blow. I've seen stair shots and low blows have been the theme of tonight's matches.
Contained by that, just that hideous Paul Bear.
Oh, I thought he was going to tombstone Taker there. Set him up. People's elbow.
And the Rock,
he's not gonna try this on the under.
Did they pay Bossman triple for this? I don't know.
the people's elbow. And he got his foot caught there by the boss man. And the Undertaker takes advantage, just like earlier.
I might be the Burger King, but she has the double Whoppers.
Well, I hope the Rock didn't spring the first-class tickets for Bear. Hey,
Oh, Bossman was going to do something, but Taker knocked him off.
what are you doing?
Clothesline.
Undertaker nailing a boss man. Undertaker wants to win this match.
Oh, I remember some of the outfits that Lita wore during the Rated R Superstar phase. That was, whoo boy, that was nice, very nice.
I know the Undertaker wants to win, but he should have realized that the Big Boss Man was out here to make sure the Rock.
Oh, God, here's Kane.
Here's Kane.
It's Kane. Oh, Kane comes in.
Choke slam, and now Undertaker gets DQ'd. Kane, there's a brain underneath that mask.
Is Kane and the Undertaker back together
I
again?
don't think so.
As a result of the disqualification,
I thought JR said balls, man.
Kane just got his brother disqualified.
Making a set for each pay-per-view is too much work. Yeah, why focus on being cool?
No, they're not back together again.
Kane and the Undertaker are damn sure not back together. But Kane just got his brother eliminated from this tournament.
Doing good. The Nitro where Sting won the world title against DDP, then DDP won the title back in the main event. Why would they have Sting win it and then drop it back to DDP on the same episode? Because they were stupid. Also, it was one of those tricked, like, cheap ratings ploy things that was commonplace at the time. Undertaker and Kane are fighting through the crowd, so neither Brother of Destruction will be the WWF champion. And they were the ones that originally put everything into motion for this tournament to happen.
Amongst them.
Where are they going?
But it's going to be Rock or Mankind.
Somebody needs to get out here and stop this.
I don't
you
think they.
smell what the Rock is cooking.
Well, I can smell that the Rock and Mankind.
2009 or 2010, which is better for WWE? Oh, I don't know. I wasn't that hot on W. Uh-oh. I lost my network feed. Can you all still see me? Can you all still hear me? My network feed just kind of hiccuped. I think we're okay now, but can you all see me? Can you all hear me? Everything okay? I'm good? Okay, good. All right, we've got we just hit the 2-hour mark, and we've got about 45, a little less than 45 minutes left, so I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be right back. I'll get myself something else to drink, and we will finish up the show. So don't go away. I will be right back. Hello, I have returned. All right. How we doing? All right, we are at timestamp. We are at 1 hour 59 seconds. Oh wait, 1 hour 59 minutes and 59 seconds. So almost right at the 2 hour mark. You like the Lego Death Star in the background? Yeah, I like it too. It's great. Thank you. I appreciate it. Feds are coming for me. Great. Great. Now YouTube is taking away your network access. Yeah, fuck those guys. They probably would if they could. See, I have a couple drinks. I make a few too many rants about the powerful corporations and the government, and all hell breaks loose. Might be the last time you see me. Hulk Hogan, we're coming for you. Fill in the blank. All right, we're gonna restart in 3, 2, 1.
Boy, we've not heard the last of that, I'm sure. Our good friends from Nestle. Nestle Crunch Airship, a lot of their great folks with Nestle here with us tonight.
You like the Lego Death Star? You should see my. Well, it's a Lego knockoff, but my Lego Castle Grayskull. I really like that set.
Folks, Michael Cole standing by with a man that could be the next champion.
Mankind, you have The Rock for the WWF Championship.
Top 5 favorite SummerSlam main events.
Smiling down on Mankind tonight.
Bret and Bulldog is up there.
We'll make that one more rock to climb if you smell what the sock is cooking.
Thinking Bret and Undertaker 97. I'm trying to think of all of them. I would say Hogan Shawn because of the live experience that I had from being there, even though the match gets like a negative rep for Shawn's overselling. Though it didn't ruin the live experience for me, so that was great. And then after that, I draw a blank. I'm sorry. Punk and Hardy from 09 I would throw up there. And now... yeah, what an odd time. It's like this dude got over because he's obsessed with his ass. It's just weird. They're holding up a sign with the Outlaws' entire like spiel. What is it? What is that?
It's the biggest sign I ever saw.
Yeah, thank you, JR. That thing looked crazy.
Boys and girls,
Total of all ages. D-Generation X proudly brings to you its champions of the world. Is that Tori in the crowd? I just noticed. I think Tori is sitting in the front row. So were they doing the Sable Stalker gimmick like that early?
And give a big hello to Triple H in China. Now,
The Age Outlaws were an overrated tag team. They got over. I mean, it was the shtick was more over than anything they did in the ring. So good. They were nowhere near one of my favorite teams, but they made their mark.
Ladies and gentlemen, here come the Headbangers. Their former
Which Eddie theme did I like most? His last theme, Kraken, Gangsta Lane, or Lie, Cheat, and Steal remix. I like Gangsta Lane because that was actually like a new song. The slow version of Lie, Cheat, and Steal was kind of silly, I thought. And now we can skip the rest of the match.
Well, you know, the Headbangers, one of the Headbangers, Maj, was victorious in that.
Probably. This is another match. I remember it being really bad.
And they want to do the same thing.
Like the women's match. The women's match I remember thinking was awful, and I rewatched it here. Like, yeah, that actually wasn't too bad. Here we go, the Headbangers. And who's the other team? It sounds like Nation of Domination. D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry. Voodoo Kin Mafia? I didn't get that at all. I did not understand that one bit.
Two biggest claims to fame, the 1996 Olympics and his sexual harassment lawsuit filed against China.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah, Cena and Bryan from 2013 was a great one too. You're right. You're right. That one slipped my mind.
I think his rib cage is any better.
Oh, please.
Do you have any non-fiction book recommendations? The Disaster Artist by Greg Sestero, detailing his times filming The Room. I think it's much better than the movie, perfectly honest. I also recommend the audiobook for that because he does a pretty spot-on Tommy Wiseau impression. That's amazing. And I also recommend Ryan Holiday's Trust Me, I'm Lying, which basically outlines how shitty the news media really is, and how the business of the news media operates, and just how shit. It basically it gives evidence of everything that I've always known, but this is well researched and it highlights all of it, like just how bad it really is, and how it's like such a shittily run business that no one should ever trust. No wonder the match sucked. Mark Henry's in it. Ooh, harsh line.
Would like to once again wear the tag team gold. It will be the first time.
What are your thoughts on the Brett Benoit Owen tribute match? Oh, nice fly there by the headbanger. Which one was that? Mosh? That was Mosh. This was the period where I was starting to really like D'Lo Brown, and he was getting over with me. The chest protector and European title run and the head swivel and all that. He was really coming into his own.
That's the first time I've ever seen that. A guy comes in, kicks the man making the cover, and then kicks the guy that was
The For Life crew.
Well, the Outlaws going to do a number on.
Please skip the match. I know, I'm going to watch the whole pay-per-view. Oh, running powerbomb by D'Lo.
Man, what a move by D'Lo Brown. You talk about a powerbomb. Now look at the headbanger.
Do I have any wrestling figures? No, I don't. Not anymore. I used to when I was younger, but not anymore.
Ethical, but it's darn sure good strategy.
Watch, they're fighting everywhere.
Oh, flapjack.
Ooh! Face planted him.
Just suffered at the hands of the headbangers and the
Oh, the Brett Benoit, I forgot to answer. Yeah, no, that was a really good, classy match to do with good intentions. Yeah, that's the best way I can say it. It was a match made with, like, the best intentions in tribute to somebody else, and it was nice to see.
Another cover. And another.
There's a video on YouTube of a live cinema reaction to The Room's first screening, and it's mayhem. Is it real?
There are supposed to be 3 men.
That's I've got to check that out. Like the patient zeros of The Room. I've got to check that out then.
3 men from opposite teams.
Yeah. Well, that's not a necessity, is it?
Oh, Road Dogg.
Road Dogg's in trouble here.
On Dream Street here. Oh.
Another low blow that was right in front of the referee.
That has been extremely liberal, to say the least. Mark Henry, the 700 or 957-pound barbell squat to his credit.
Bear hug by Mark Henry.
For the strongest man in the world. You don't have to be.
Did Shawn not losing to Davey at One Night Only affect the match for you? I mean, I didn't care that much about the European title. I feel like I feel like Shawn, there was money to be made in him as a heel, even though he was a prick. Like, it made more sense in the long run for him to go over.
Using that strong vertical base, he's whipping right now. And now look at both Mark Henry.
This shows you my age. My era of wrestling figures were the Hasbro WWF figures from like the 80s and 90s. What were some really stupid opinions that the internet wrestling community had in the late 90s? Well, the big thing was, like, they hated all the main eventers, it seemed. Most of them, anyway. And if you weren't a technical wrestler, a hardcore guy, or a cruiserweight, they hated you. Like, everybody in ECW was better than any WCW, WWF guy, because they were hardcore guys. Like, hardcore wrestling was seen as, like, the shit back then.
When there's 3 men in the ring, again, you just almost feel that the pinning combinations are going to be interrupted, if possible. Road Dogg is illegal.
Billy's cussing out the ref.
Billy Gunn having some words with the referee. That's not going to.
I think he dropped an F-bomb. Got censored. Hurricane Rana by D'Lo.
Nice Hurricane Rana from a near 300-pounder.
Because of what Shawn did to Davey and Brett, Taker didn't trust Shawn going into Mania 14. Yeah, I wouldn't trust him either.
Great athletic move there in any event. Remember, the Road Dogg is
Do you miss blood?
for the Outlaws.
I don't need blood in like every show or every match, but you know, it adds a lot of heat to certain feuds that call for it, certain matches that call for it.
Moss has got a cover here.
Come on.
And this could be it. We got new champions. 1, 2. No, D'Lo kicked out.
Yeah, this match is pretty bad. It started off kind of hot, but it's pretty bad.
There wouldn't have been
It's
much
just-
that DX could have done about it.
Yeah.
The Outlaws.
You know, these triple threat rules really penalize the champions.
Maybe I should have skipped the match.
Championship match, you got that championship advantage, as we have called it over the years, where a disqualification or a pinfall, belt doesn't change hands. You're in a situation here where you're the champion, you don't have to be involved in a decision and lose the title.
Like I said a while ago with Mr. McMahon.
Do you think WWE dropped the ball with D'Lo when they brought him back in 2008? I completely forgot that they brought him back in 2008, so I couldn't tell you.
He's got here. Might be whipped.
Ooh, Henry with that clothesline.
Oh, that could be it. And I'll tell you what, that would have been all right there. Mark Henry,
They're really dragging out this hot
he
tag.
assaulted the Road Dogg with a hell of a close.
So this is an interesting setup here, because normally it's 2 guys in the ring at a time, but here they allow 3 guys in the ring at a time.
Time here, I think,
Oh,
man.
my God. No, look at that.
Oh, nice reversal of the powerbomb.
A roll-up. Rather, a roll-up. And D'Lo.
What do you think would have happened to wrestling if WCW and ECW stayed in business somehow? We'd be in a better spot,
To find that rhythm.
at least. Because I think a lot of the guys and talents that came up in the Indies and through TNA and
That's
ROH
what's
and
great about
various
this
other
match.
things.
There's no rhythm.
They still would have been around. You wouldn't have seen like the influx of like TNA and ROH, but if you had WCW and ECW around as viable options, business would have just continued going well, I think.
The Road Dogg with that leg.
Granted, like the big numbers of the late 90s, early 2000s wouldn't have stayed, but the business would be a lot better off.
Well, I kind of doubt that, but
Okay, now look at this. Now we got
Why did Heat get canned? Because they have like 19 million other shows.
3 men in the ring.
What's a film you would have loved to have seen in this first screening in theaters? Oh, Rocky. All the Rocky movies. Because the first one I got to see in theaters was Rocky Balboa. The 6th one. I would have liked to have seen the whole series in
Tag
theaters.
out if he could get an opportunity.
well, there's no doubt about that. D'Lo's trying to.
He wants to get Mosh to
Come up with some sort of peace accord here.
Well, that's a patented headbanger move.
Another low blow in front of the referee.
Well, you saw where that one landed. And there's a cover. Is it 3? Got 2.
What are your thoughts on the Mankind Boss Man ladder match for the Hardcore title? I barely remember it. Barely. I remember it happened on Raw, I believe.
Did they make a tag or does it matter? Officiating here tonight's been all over the road.
WWF Afterburn. What is that? One of their albums, or is that like a bad video game that they made? I don't remember which. The name sounds familiar.
His body has been just brutalized by D'Lo and Mark Henry and the headbanger. D'Lo.
It was a recap show. I don't remember that.
Two-time European champion.
I don't remember seeing it.
He wants some more gold. Headbutt.
Poor old Road Dogg is just, I mean, he is out of it.
Jeff Hardy RVD from Invasion was the best Hardcore title match, probably, but the Hardcore title also set a pretty low bar. So there's the hot tag finally.
Billy Gunn got the tag. Billy Gunn's ready to take on the world here.
And the world's strongest man.
Oh, The Exorcist would be fun to see in theaters for the first time, just to see everybody else pass out and scream their heads off. Do you have any memories of watching WWF Shotgun Saturday Night? A couple of times. I didn't watch every episode, but I caught it a couple of
And the
times.
count was interrupted.
I remember seeing the Fondle Me Elmo, or whatever the hell that was,
Billy Gunn was breathing.
bit where Sonny had sex with Elmo, and I was like, okay, that's the stupidest thing I've ever watched. Faymaster!
A move by D'Lo Brown, and there's a cover now by Billy Gunn after the rocker dropper.
Oh, Mark Henry missed with the splash there. Well, he hit somebody. Might as well take the pin.
Mark Henry got that big splash, and I'll tell you what, Mosh was a lucky son of a gun king just to get a shoulder up, just barely off the canvas. Oh, there's a power driver.
What was that Billy just hit him
Billy
with?
Gunn, and that
Outlaws win. Okay, that match was way longer than it needed to be and kind of a mess. But, yeah. Kane Show and Raven with the golf cart? Yeah. I wish they had executed the golf cart bit better. Because apparently Raven had like a whole idea in mind for it.
he held on, and as much as Billy Gunn should get credit offensively for winning this matchup,
Dumbest name for a finisher?
handed to the road dog for a
Nothing jumps out at me.
and avoid and not
I can't think of anything. Nothing's jumping out at me right now.
I'm gonna tell you, D'Lo and Mark
$50 for a wrestling pay-per-view is ridiculous. And Billy moons us. That's nice to see. Thanks.
You got a promise.
$50 for a wrestling pay-per-view. It's fine if there's only 4 a year, but when you start charging that much and you do a pay-per-view a month, I'm like, fuck you.
And we want to show you again how Stone Cold Steve Austin got royally screwed by the McMahon family here tonight. Yeah, Austin had the
You thought that was long? The Outlaws' next pay-per-view match against Bossman and Shamrock was way too long. I don't remember that. It would have been rock bottom. The only matches I remember from that show are the striptease match, Goldust and Jeff Jarrett, with Deborah Strips, because of course I remember that. I remember Rock and Foley, where they did that screwy finish, and I remember the Buried Alive match between Austin and
They
Taker.
sped out of here. Austin, on the other hand, was just a few seconds behind. Austin commandeered, as you'll see here.
Oh, wait a minute, commandeered. I'm glad we got this on tape. This is Grand Theft Auto right
Thank you, Lawler. I agree.
That's a car
He threw the guy. He threw the driver into the other car.
somebody's vehicle right there, JR. And he's chasing the McMahons.
And
Needs to be
again,
arrested.
Let's pull up the card. Rock
big
bottom,
McMahon booster these days.
1998.
He told you to get rid of this goofy crown. Remember that?
Yeah, but that was just in a heat of a moment. He's the boss.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the
New Age
World
Outlaws and the
Championship
Corporation
is
for the
coming
tag titles
to
got
this end,
16
so
minutes
there's
and
no
10
doubt about that.
seconds.
The biggest names in the
pretty long
game
for an Outlaws
have
match.
won the World Wrestling Federation title. It will be bestowed. It will be won by a new man here tonight, King. Either Mankind, obviously the chosen one, the corporate chosen one by Vince McMahon, or the People's Champion, The Rock.
What are your thoughts on the Austin Taker Buried Alive match? I remember it being kind of bad.
Mankind, because if you do,
I remember not liking it all that much, although the ending with Austin dropping the dirt on him with the, what was it, like the bulldozer or whatever that was pretty cool.
Final match of the tournament to determine the World Wrestling Federation champion. This contest is scheduled for one fall to a finish.
This was the only pay-per-view, one of only 2 pay-per-views to not have Austin in the main event at 98. Well, let's see, there was Royal Rumble was the other one, right? Because that was Taker and Shawn in the casket match.
Series, the title has changed hands. We knew it would happen here tonight because it was guaranteed. No champion going in. And we were guaranteed, and that guarantee...
You
still
dumb
stands.
bitch, turn around.
Poor old Mick, I don't know if he's even aware. He got his boots on
he's
now.
got his boots on.
And his,
Very smart move there by Mankind.
he's still wearing that damn bow tie.
JR.
Bless his deranged heart. His brains have been scrambled by so many chair shots, you got to wonder if he's even aware of what's going on.
Well, of course he's aware. He's aware of the fact that he's inches away or minutes away from being the next champion. Wow.
Here we go, the grand climax to this pay-per-view, where everything comes together. Rock Bottom should be the next pay-per-view you do a live stream for. I don't know, is that one worth checking out?
Probably safely nestled away in their Lear.
I would want it to be like okay, the pay-per-views I would like to live stream are ones that are historically significant, ones that I really enjoy, or ones that are so bad they're hilarious.
We won't have a conclusion.
Oh, the McMahons are back. And there's Boss Man again.
He may be out there on Route 70 somewhere. You never can tell. You know what I'm saying? But we personally want to handle this fast. By the way, if you're running a Stone Cold, give one of these for me.
Well, 18 at least has the Hogan Rock match, which makes it worth checking out just for that.
What do you think of that, JR?
Oh, I think it's damn pathetic.
Well, the McMahons are
That's
obviously
what I
still
think
here.
about it. No kidding, Einstein.
Did you hear what Vince said? We want to take care of this one first.
Valedictorian of the Sherlock Holmes Detective School. The McMahons are obviously still here.
Well, how did they do that?
Well, they kept standing
I
in.
thought we saw them right away.
I did too.
JR. Great.
Well, I thought we wouldn't have a Montreal revisited, but I guess I shouldn't count my blessings.
December to Dismember. Well, it's a short pay-per-view, so I could probably
Well,
do
here
it.
we
But
are. Well, I don't think the Rock
oh
is
boy,
probably
that
even
that
aware
show
that
was
McMahon is
bad.
back here.
Like,
Keep your mouth shut.
how dare you have the like literally like
He knew.
literally I was like when I saw the card.
Elbow tie up and,
I was like, because I didn't see it live, obviously. Because I took one look at that card, I was like, how dare you charge full price for this pay-per-view? You sick monsters.
Did you see that move right there by Mankind? That was pretty smart. He said he's not smart. Smart move.
The Kane Angle matches, yeah, the match they had at WrestleMania 18, I thought it was a solid match, but they botched the finish, if I recall. Mankind looks like a bitch shaven. True.
Yeah, right tonight, just in a few minutes probably. And I would think that the new champion will be on there with us.
Both men somewhat cautious here. There's no time limit in this matchup, and we will stay with it until there is a winner.
God, you're going to get to see all of this pay-per-view.
Oh, there's a shot at WCW.
That's not nice, King. Making reference to those less fortunate.
Oh, God. Brutal.
By the Rock. Reeling.
Brutal shot at WCW. This, of course, was the next, I believe, the next WWE pay-per-view after Halloween Havoc
You
98,
know, folks, how
where
much punishment
that unfortunate mishap happened.
Mankind can sustain. It is, it's inhuman at times what mankind
What's
can
worse, December to Dismember or Hell in a Cell 2019? Oh,
He's the
Jesus.
happiest guy in the world. He gets to be psychotic.
Hell in a Cell 2019, while it is a terrible show, it is at least a competently produced show. Like, December to Dismember is like, the fuck is this?
Knockdown, quickly going for the cover here.
The site crashed because people were demanding refunds.
For the Rock's
Yeah.
his grandfather, the late High Chief Peter Maivia, was a
One forgotten Austin match is the Hollywood Blonde Steel Cage from Slamboree 93. I remember that match. It was a good one, if I recall. I haven't seen it in years, but...
But this kid's destiny is to become the World Wrestling Federation champion.
No, Brock had the greatest rookie year in, like, wrestling history, where it was like...
And McMahon...
He went from nobody to superstar, like, in the blink of an eye. It was crazy.
Well, I just think there's a lot of respect, and look at Mankind.
A mishap. Halloween Havoc 98, the pay-per-view ran long, so a lot of people didn't get to see the main event, because the pay-per-view feed cut off at the cutoff time, which I believe would have been 11 o'clock. And, the end result was a lot of people missing the Goldberg DDP title match.
Earl Hebner, the senior official in the World Wrestling
Not something you
Federation,
want to have happen.
imploring these athletes to return to the ring.
Now, Mankind, nobody knows better than you, JR, about Mankind's heritage and his history. I mean, he has put everything, he's put his life on the line to be where he is. His dream, his entire life, since he was a little kid jumping off the roofs of houses, has been to be the champion. Why is it not destiny for him to be the title holder?
Well, it is, as much as Rock is, for that matter. Mankind, like a lot of us, started off as wrestling fans. And like a lot of us, we still are fans to this very day, and I'll be damned.
Now what? Who's coming out?
Hey.
Here we go. The McMahons are here.
Oh, look at him smile. Little swagger. There's Big John Wayne and Little John Wayne. And we swagger when we walk, because by God, we can.
JR's so
Why don't
good.
you just go ahead and admit it? You fell for it, hook, line, and sinker.
Damn right I did.
You fished in.
William Regal's best WCW match is the one with Arn Anderson in Super Bowl IV. Probably. I also really like the parking lot brawl he had with Finley. That one's worth checking out.
I wasn't the only one.
I'm sorry, the Belfast Brawler, I believe it was called at that point.
He's getting ready to find out just exactly how wrong we all are, or were.
Was it Halloween Havoc 97 where Randy Savage jumped off that dangerously high and bendy cage? The cage literally bent as he jumped it. I believe so. He did that in the Hogan-Piper match, right? Yeah.
And nice suplex by the Rock, countering Mankind.
Can you speak to Shane McMahon?
Oh, I can speak, but
They only had 2 matches listed on the back cover. That's hilarious. Yeah, because going into the pay-per-view, they only had the 2 matches announced, and one of them wasn't even an ECW match. It was Hardy's versus Eminem, and they were on different shows.
It's going to get nastier before it's over. You can almost feel the eruption.
And then the rest of the show, it felt like they just made it up as they went along.
And The Rock with all the marbles on the line.
Suplex by The Rock.
There. And just splattered. Boy, it's an amazing recovery that McMahon has made with that ankle, huh?
Look at Vince. He's just observing.
Well, there's been miracles happen here tonight. Watch it now. Watch yourself, Mr. McMahon.
Rock won't get disqualified now. Don't lose your composure.
He did, I mean, Savage did have knee problems later in life, so jumps like that are the reason why.
Oh, Mankind. Bad ride.
Ooh!
Landing. Bad ride. Hellacious landing for Mankind. Straddling the Dashers here. And now both of them are outside. There's got to be a winner in this matchup. And the referee has a this. There's a fighter outside. Somebody's going to get hurt very, very badly before this one is all over. You can almost feel it.
Ooh!
As long as it's not
Oh, poor Foley. Backdrop.
Backdrop from the outside. Back in.
this is bad.
Oh, it's going to be horrible.
I'm trying to figure out, like, the only people that ordered December to Dismember had to be, like, diehard WWE fans that just order every pay-per-view. Like, I can't imagine any, like, self-respecting human being being like, yeah, I'm going to order that card. That card with 2 matches on it. On the clear number 3 brand that nobody cares about. And we pissed away all the goodwill with the ECW fans, the faithful ECW fans.
The secret there.
No DQ here, yep.
Hand over his ear there. He wanted you to know. He just blurted out loud, like you always do.
Do you agree that Regal's best match is the one with Benoit and Velocity 06? It's up there. I mean, that was one of those surprise hits if you watch Velocity. For, again, like the 10 people that watch Velocity, you got like a really good technical match out of them. I also thought, I really liked his matches with Sabisco in WCW. I really enjoyed those.
And The Rock, he fights back.
Ooh! Knee to the gut. But yeah, Regal and Zabisco had a really good feud in like the early 90s over the TV title. There's that cactus clothesline. I love that move. I don't know why.
They're running on just adrenaline and the will to win.
Mankind is just looking for some sort of, come on.
Got the chair.
Anything hard.
Well, you know he's not going to get disqualified.
Oh my gosh, look at this.
Oh!
Tell Mankind to gut and quarter The Rock and not get disqualified. He'd probably get a raise. You gotta know that the referee has been instructed.
Their one at Slamboree 94 was awesome. The Slamboree 94, was that the one? That was Vader and Sting, right? For the international title? Or was that Flair and Steamboat? Ooh! Damn! Rock's taking out his frustration on the steel steps. Goddamn motherfuckers, you've been all over this show. Wham!
Brains are scrambled again. Over easy. And well done.
Timestamp is 2:27:58.
Totally depleted now.
What about live stream for Royal Rumble 99? Maybe, we'll see. Kurt Angle versus Hardcore Holly on Velocity, which feels like a fever dream.
It could be over.
I remember the first match they had where Angle broke Hardcore Holly's arm with a botched moonsault. Okay, so Slamboree, that was Sting Vader. Okay.
The championship hangs in the balance. The winner of this match is the new man. He's the new champion of the World Wrestling Federation. And folks, I'll tell you, it don't get no bigger than that.
Oh, low blow. Low blows. Low blows, steel steps, big boss man. The themes of this pay-per-view. There's a clear motifs being used. Those stairs have a family. Came from the stair factory. And a family. Had a man and a woman that put them together. Assembled them.
should be determined that way. I think that's a wise decision. And look at this. I mean, if you don't disqualify The Rock for this,
take his candy ass from room to damn room until it's checkout time. By the way, Rock and Foley, I Quit match, that promo package before the match, probably my favorite promo package that the WWE ever did. I will not say them here nor there. I will. Oh, what's Foley doing? Is this the cactus elbow? Cactus elbow. I will not say them here nor there. I will not say them anywhere. I will not say those words, you twit. I will not say I quit.
Looks like these two men have been in a car wreck. Watch it. Look out here. Come on, Mick. Oh, don't do that. It's the desk. Oh.
APA, yeah, the APA they were over. They don't get the recognition of like the Hardys, the Dudleys, and Edge and Christian do, but they were a good act. Oh, that leg drop! That looked like that could have gone horribly wrong. 4 people could have gotten hurt there.
They're gonna kill each other.
Listen to JR.
God, I've never seen anything like this in my
John
life.
Cena also wrestled Daniel Bryan in bright green sweats on Velocity in 2003. Wow.
How in God's name can a human being, both these guys recover from this? Wow. Good God,
Anybody remember when APA played strip poker with Tess and Albert, and Trish was the one stripping? Rock's still alive.
look at this. Take another look at this. Oh. They almost got you, JR.
Mankind now wrenching down. I mean, he has the advantage. He feels.
Listen to those Rocky chants.
He feels what could happen.
Look at those Rocky chants. Oh, they are going to be so disappointed.
Who hitchhiked to Madison Square Garden, who idolized the superstars, who broke into wrestling and slept in his car, is a 3 count away from being at the top of the mountain. But it will be a comfort mountain if McMahon has his way. Oh, Rock is, boy, it is. There's nothing being held back here. Look at these shots.
You ever seen the WWE commentary animations? I have. They're pretty good. I also saw one, JR's commentary over video games, that had me almost pissing myself. I was laughing so hard.
Splat all over the floor.
There was a Mario Kart clip with Luigi that just had me just dying.
Oh, no. Coming this way again.
Oh, come on.
Oh, thank goodness.
Have they? No. Well, I feel like the internet basically decided that WrestleMania 9 was the worst, which I don't agree with that. I think it's unquestionably 11. Unquestionably. And the worst part about 11 now on the network, oh, that DDT looked good. But Salt and Peppa's performance for Lawrence Taylor's entrance has been cut out of the network. And that was literally the best part of the show. Literally the best part of the show was Salt and Peppa's performance, and they cut it out of the show. You bastards.
And it's all for the gold. It's all for the title.
Yeah, I feel like 9 is the one that gets called the worst. Which I don't agree. I think it's 11.
Gotta be in a daze, and The Rock is reaching down with his mom and daddy looking on.
Do you agree Sting Hogan at Fall Brawl 99 was awful? I never saw Fall Brawl 99. I was done with WCW at that point. Out he goes.
Toss right over the top rope again. And again, here comes Mankind.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, Mick,
What is Mick doing?
Oh, no, come on.
Careful, Mick.
Mankind up on top.
Oh, crash and burn, no table.
To the table again. It looks like another cover.
That guy is sick.
How did you feel as a Giants fan knowing that LT was going to wrestle? I was hyped for it. I was like, yeah, that's cool.
Well, the carnage is just unbelievable. Our broadcast team from
Their belts are getting better. Like, I like the new IC belt. I like the new US belt. They actually look like title belts and not like fucking toys. So they're getting better.
Rock using what's left of the announce table on Mankind.
The reason that all the promos sound the same is because it's the same writers writing the exact same cadence, exact same wordage. So nobody's unique. That's exactly why. Nobody's allowed to be unique.
I don't know how either one understands. The Rock says, come get you some. Oh, it's time now.
Ahmed Johnson, he did get over for a hot minute there. Didn't last, but... Are you enjoying Jericho's goofiness? Generally, yes. The Vegas segment had some jokes I didn't like the Hornswoggle bit, but other jokes they did I thought were great. So, you know, generally I like it more than... Foley kicked out of the people's elbow. Yeah, that WrestleMania 2000 was when Foley, like, crashed and burned through the announce table. Chest first, I think. Do you watch New Legacy Inc? I do not. I don't even know what that is. Mr. Sacco! Oh, the fans are booing. It's so funny. It's so funny. Mandible Claw, Rock's fading. Listen to those chants for Rocky. Those fans are going to be so pissed. Rock is getting up. Well, when Foley did it at Mania, he fell short of the table. I thought that's what happened. Like, he didn't make the jump. Nope, Rock is still alive.
He's hanging on for longer. But how much longer?
Rock, he breaks it. He's getting close. Broke it! Rock bottom!
And both men are down.
Oh my God. I remember watching this back in the day. I was on pins and needles. Rock crawls over, slowly. 1, 2. Foley kicks out.
A 2 count, a long 2 count.
Mr. McMahon sweating bullets over there.
Rock looks at McMahon. Here we go.
Sweat, I'm sure.
Perrier.
Here we go. Sharpshooter.
There's a sharpshooter. Sharpshooter.
And Vince calls for the bell. Oh my God, and the crowd, you can already see the crowd's like, oh. Oh shit! You've been hoodwinked! You've been bamboozled! Do you prefer Rock's 2003 heel promo in Toronto or Michael's promo in Montreal in 2005? Both are really good. Here we go, the McMahons and The Rock. They hug, and now Vince has his corporate champion that he's always wanted. The fix was in, goddammit! Now this is the big moment where Foley, you really feel sorry for him after this.
Is believing. And you can believe this. You can believe that Vince McMahon didn't screw the people tonight. The people screwed the people.
I loved Hollywood Rock. Hollywood Rock was awesome.
And you can also...
The Rock concerts alone validated that entire run.
Are just as pathetic and gullible as mankind.
Aww. Poor Mick.
I'll be happy to elaborate a great deal more tomorrow night. However, one other thing, and that is I would like to publicly state on behalf of the McMahon family that we are so proud here tonight for a number of reasons. One of them...
Look at poor Mick. It's like he still doesn't get it. Like, hey, what's going on here, guys? I thought we were family.
Utterly,
oh, no.
Totally,
he's like, I never tapped.
Screwed in this very ring.
Sickening.
And if there's one man...
Do you think the sharpshooter was a little on the nose? No, I thought it was perfect. It paid off what happened the year before.
All of you it has to be the man
That was
who
the
has
fact
the
that it was the
lowest
sharpshooter is why how
intent
people like
each and
connected the
every
dots
one
right
of you,
away. They were like,
and that
"Oh
is
shit,
The Rock.
not again."
The Rock. Fans don't want
Oh, I love the Austin Dude Love
Congratulate you, Rock,
match.
and
The
Shane.
over the edge one, that match is
Shane,
great. It's a madhouse, but it's great.
Performance. Thank you. And I told the world that, Dad, I'm just like you after all. Aren't I, Dad?
Mankind's very confused. Poor son of a gun.
Oh, JR's like, oh, poor Nick. Poor Mankind.
Rock, it's all yours.
Vince, just like last Sunday on.
I'll be sure to come back when the Lakers beat the Kings. The boos for that were amazing. It was wonderful. Wonderfully delivered, wonderfully paid off. It was great.
For each and every single piece of trailer park trash to kiss the rocks if you smell what the Rock is cooking.
Is that the match they had on Raw in '98? Because I remember that being like one of the more exciting
I'm
Raw.
not sure I understand.
Oh, here's poor Mick.
The Rock is a great wrestler, but Dad, to lose this match, I either had to be pinned and submit, and The Rock didn't either. I'm not really sure I understand what the hell is going on around here.
Well, Mick, you don't get it, right? Well, get this, okay?
Oh, from behind.
Well, you can ask that question of any situation. It's like, you know, I think the bad guys, the way I reason it is like the bad guys want to prove they can win, and then they only pull out the screw job when they realize they can't.
In collusion, and here comes.
And one more rock bottom for Mick.
Poor, sad son of a gun, Mick Foley.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Vince puts the belt on him.
family is proud to present your new World Wrestling Federation champion, the corporate champion. I give you The Rock.
Oh my god. They went from loving Rock to hating him real quick. Rock says, Rock says, Rock says.
This is Big J.
I did say that. Yeah, the six-man Hell in a Cell, it's one of those matches where it's just too many bodies flying around, so it's not like, it doesn't stay with me the way a lot of the other ones do, but it's still fun for what it is.
And how the people here are just stunned. Nobody wants to believe what they're
Oh, and look who's coming up the aisleway.
that the rattlesnake is back.
Austin's back.
What?
He avoided getting arrested somehow for Grand Theft Auto. I prefer heels being on top. I prefer heels being on top and the babyface getting the big payoff. That generally works better for me.
Running away. And The Rock now trying to assault Austin. Austin should be the champion, in my opinion. And the McMahons are running for their life. You can't blame them.
Here comes Rock and Austin. This is your WrestleMania main event.
Austin, he's going to beat The Rock like he owns it.
Stunner! Oh my god, Rock actually took that stunner like a normal person. Woo!
Stone Cold Steve Austin has just cleaned the ring of the new corporate champion. If you smell what the rattlesnake is cooking.
Now Austin doesn't forget that Mick Foley was in on the screw job earlier. Kick, stunner to Foley.
And maybe that just will knock some sense into mankind.
And the middle fingers be flying. Oh, Rikishi, the bumpy toe. Yeah, it's funny that it hurt him because they put all that hay there to soften the blow, and it didn't really work out the way they wanted it to.
Not a very auspicious coronation for the new corporate champion thanks to the rattlesnake.
So there we go. That was Survivor Series 1998. Like I said, not a lot in the way of like great wrestling or high star rating type of matches, but if you want a complete story that is well told throughout the entire pay-per-view, you can't get much better than this.
Here comes Austin.
And Austin's still attacking Rock.
Austin walking away at The Rock with those right hands. He's sending the message to the new champ, and he's sending the message to the McMahon. The Rock against the new
They did a wonderful job with all of this.
For how long? If you're a rattlesnake fan, you'd say, hell no, not very long. Believe me, the McMahons will
6 out of 10. I give it like a 8 or 9. Just for the storyline alone.
got a new WWF champion.
Nobody saw this coming. They swerved us all. It's a swerve, bro.
They did it to us at the second.
Meltzer probably hated the show. I wouldn't be surprised if he did, but Meltzer can go fuck himself. You don't like this pay-per-view as much as everybody else. Never was a fan. Breakdown is better. That's an interesting... Breakdown had a cool ending. I like the ending to that one. I don't remember much else on the card other than the main event. The main event was great because it was just Austin getting his ass kicked by Taker and Kane the entire time. But, okay, so that concluded my watch-along for Survivor Series 1998, and it doesn't look like YouTube pulled me. We'll see if the stream actually uploads onto the channel. Like I said, I'm no longer monetizing my videos based on recent changes by YouTube, and I'm just kind of thumbing my nose at them at this point. It's like it's not even worth trying to take money from them, at least not from my point of view. So, you know, it is what it is. It almost feels... I feel like this stream almost turned out like Homer, to make a Simpsons reference. It was like Homer's first draft at a restaurant review, where it's like, you use words like spaghetti and tomatoes. You make several threatening messages to the UN, and you just kept saying screw Flanders over and over again at the end. I kind of feel like the stream was like that, where it's like I start off just basically telling YouTube to fuck off. I told the government and both political parties to fuck off. It's, you know, it's fun. Very, very fun. But it is 1:15 in my time, so I think I'm going to sign off here. Thanks again, everybody, for joining me, and I will have more videos up in the near future, so be on the lookout for those. But right now, I think I'm going to turn in and have a good night, so you all do the same. Take care.